Chapter 23:23. The ancestor of the Demon Wings clan had fallen during the God-destroying tribulation. Because of his strength, his body and soul were destroyed, leaving behind only his skull. In other words, his skull was at the level of a deity emperor. The defense of the demon imperial city was at the level of a deity emperor. Of course, it might be lacking, but it wouldn't be too far off. In other words, Night Sorrow was fighting against a deity emperor's defense. As the bombardment grew more intense, Night Sorrow let out continuous howls. Every howl was accompanied by an earth-shaking explosion. There were only 3 experts in the demon imperial city, Demon Nine Clouds, Enchanting and Enchanting. If it were an ordinary cultivator, they would have been injured or killed. Enchanting controlled the energy of the demon imperial city to defend with all his might. At the same time, he attacked Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's 1,000 worlds defensive body had reached the level of 12 worlds. When the energy of the formation got close to him, it was banished into his summer space. Therefore, he didn't care about defense and attacked with all his might. After 20 strikes, the center of the demon imperial city's skull had caved in. Cracks appeared and extended in all directions. This guy didn't use the position of the 7 evils. He used brute force to break the formation. This is much more difficult. He's just showing us. If he used the position of 7 evils, the demon imperial city would have been broken. What would you do, Lord? Enchanting's face was pale. Controlling the formation to defend and attack consumed a lot of his soul power. Do you think he doesn't know that doing this will increase the difficulty of breaking the formation? If he used the position of 7 evils, the demon imperial city would only be broken temporarily. We can repair it in the future. However, he destroyed the formation and destroyed the ancestors' divine court. The defense of the demon imperial city is really destroyed. It can't be repaired. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Give up. Sighing, Enchanting shook his head at Enchanting and Enchanting and left with the 2 of them. Once they were in the city, they entered the alternate dimension beneath the sacrificial tower and concealed the entrance of the space tunnel. That was a small spatial world refined by her true body. It was very difficult for others to discover it. This was also the reason why she dared to hide here. With no one in charge of the city defense array, Night Sorrow's attacks became smoother. On the 49th strike, there was an earth-shattering explosion. The skull of the city defense array, which only had 7 orifices, had an 8th hole. Night Sorrow had destroyed the divine court. As soon as the devil imperial city was breached, black energy shot up into the sky, breaking through the clouds, tearing the void, and entering the turbulence of the void. The skull was clearly visible to the cultivators of the 100 races of the celestial realm. It's broken. The unbreakable fortress has been destroyed by the human emperor. As the energy of the matrix in the demonic imperial city dissipated, the cultivators of the hundreds of races in the celestial realm roared. They were so excited that they had just witnessed a historical moment. At this moment, auspicious clouds appeared above Night Sorrow's head. Breaking the Devil Wing race's unbreakable fortress was a great merit to the celestial realm and the 100 races of the celestial realm. It allowed Night Sorrow's newly ascended merit cultivation to rise by another level, reaching the middle stage of the Merit Emperor realm. This wasn't to say that it was easy to raise one's merit power. Breaking the Devil Imperial City was the dream of the 100 races of the celestial realm for thousands of reincarnations. However, they had never been able to obtain it. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was. No one had done it for countless years, but Night Sorrow had done it. Therefore, the heavens judged that it was a great merit. Domineering. This is what it means to be unparalleled. Jun Xuanji muttered softly. This was because that man had once been her man. Night Sorrow waved his sleeves and collected all the golden auspicious clouds into his body. City Lord, Martial Uncle, let's go first. Let me rest for a bit. After all, the matter has already been decided. All right, the matter has already been decided. Tran Hung laughed loudly. He was extremely happy. Originally, he thought that when Night Sorrow broke the city, the experts of the Demon Wing clan would attack and interfere. He and King Yowu were going to have a big battle. However, after being nervous for half a day, no one from the Demon Wing clan came out. If he had known this would happen, he and King Yowu would have helped Night Sorrow break the city. That way, Night Sorrow wouldn't have to work so hard alone. After returning to the camp of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, Night Sorrow's doppelganger merged with his original body and refined the merit auspicious clouds. Night Sorrow cultivated while the others were happily chatting. Misty, your husband has broken the Devil Imperial City. This is the greatest achievement in the history of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. His merit power has increased once again. This is a double blessing, King Yowu said with a smile. Yes, this is indeed something to be happy about. The Devil Imperial City was a tumor in the hearts of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. Now, it has finally been dealt with. Lin Misty's face was filled with joy because her husband had accomplished something that countless predecessors couldn't. Next, Night Sorrow doesn't need to fight. Once the energy dissipates, we will go in and flatten everything in the Devil Imperial City. However, they have already escaped. Tran Hung said. When the Devil Imperial City was broken, Night Sorrow, Tran Hung, and King Yowu all checked it out. After finding no one, they decided to retreat and rest. The energy around the Devil Imperial City completely dissipated. Tran Hung and King Yowu let Lin Misty and a few people from the Humanitarian League guard Night Sorrow. They brought the Heaven Wasteland Army and God Capital Army into the Devil Imperial City. After meditating for 6 hours, Night Sorrow opened his eyes. The power of a middle-class emperor had completely merged into his body. Where are Lord Tran Hung and Martial Uncle? Night Sorrow looked around and asked. They said to let you rest for a while. They will take care of the rest. Lin Misty said with a smile. There's no battle. Let's just wait. Night Sorrow nodded and took out a jar of wine to drink. When Night Sorrow finished the jar of wine, Emperor Tang returned. Human Emperor, the City Lord told me to come back and tell you that the Devil Imperial City is empty. The teleportation crystals on the teleportation formation have been removed. Our people cannot enter the Heaven Wasteland domain. It seems that they have already mentally prepared themselves to break the city. If they can't hold on, they will retreat. They are waiting for the Devil Ancestor to revive and leave everything to the final battle, Night Sorrow said. 9 Clouds understands us as well as she understands herself, so she has already made arrangements, Jun Xuanji said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that in terms of information, he, as the commander of the Celestial Realm's 100 races, could not compare to Demon 9 Clouds. He only understood the Celestial Realm's 100 races and did not understand the Devil-Winged race. On the other hand, Demon 9 Clouds knew himself and his enemy. It seems that this is not a great victory. Night Sorrow shook his head. It is a great victory. For countless years, the reason why the Celestial Realm's 100 races could not win was because the Devil-Winged race had the unbreakable Devil Imperial City. The Devil Imperial City was the reason why the Devil-Winged race attacked us. It was their foundation. So what if they didn't kill anyone? Their base is gone. Their foundation is gone, the Golden Dragon King said. That's true. We have already obtained a portion of the fruits of victory. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that this was not the time to discourage everyone. The Devil Imperial City had been in everyone's hearts for too long. Solving the Devil Imperial City was solving their problem. Gee. Chapter 23-24. Night Sorrow, we haven't seen a single living person, Tran Hung said. That's normal. Demon Nine Clouds knows us too well, just like she knows herself, so she made arrangements long ago. They dismantled the transmission crystal of the transmission formation in advance, which means that there are still people on Heaven Wasteland. But it's impossible to catch one person on such a big planet, Night Sorrow said. That means, they can set up a transmission formation at any time, plug in the transmission crystal, and counterattack us. King Yowu shook his head. The demon-winged clan still had the initiative. Yes, the initiative is in their hands. We don't need to spend so much effort to break into Heaven Wasteland domain. Once this era is over, Heaven Wasteland domain will be broken. Whether we fight or not, Heaven Wasteland domain will be gone. There are probably no demon-winged clan in Heaven Wasteland domain now. They will find another domain to survive. Night Sorrow explained his thoughts. Good analysis. They have thought of all the problems and dealt with everything. Tran Hung nodded. Then we have nothing to do now. White Tiger King looked at Tran Hung, King Yowu, and Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow pointed to the Demon Imperial City. It's not that we have nothing to do. Let's get rid of him. Looking at Night Sorrow, the others nodded. Everyone knew that the Demon Imperial City could not be left. It was a hidden danger. When the demon-winged clan returned, they would clean it up. Even if its defense was not as strong as before, it was still a fortress. We tried just now, but we couldn't move it, Emperor Tang said. Uncle also tried a few times, but it didn't work. The skull is very strong. It's a bit unrealistic to completely destroy it. King Yowu nodded. Leave it to me. Our people will clean up Heaven Wasteland and bring it back. With the influence of the Demon Imperial City, Heaven Wasteland is not suitable for the people of the Celestial Realm to live in for a while, Night Sorrow said. Clan Elder Lin, please arrange this matter for the clan elders. Night Sorrow needs to deal with the Devil Imperial City. King Yowu and I need to accompany him. We need to set up the teleportation portal. Send someone to the Ancient Worlds portal and tell Elder Duan about it. Then, stay there and inform us if there's an emergency. We can go over at any time, Tran Hung said to Lin Piaomiao. City Lord, my doppelganger is with Sect Elder Duan. Sect Elder Duan already knew the news and was very happy, Pu Luo said with a smile. Yeah, we should be happy. Pu Luo, you don't have to run around. Take some men with you and help us clean up the Demon Imperial City. You can also communicate with the passage of the ancient world, Tran Hung said to Pu Luo. Pu Luo nodded. He also wanted to stay here. Then, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm moved according to the clan elders' arrangement. Pu Luo stayed with the First Army and the God-slaying squad to continue cleaning up the Demon Imperial City. The rest of the people cleaned up Tianhuang. They had to eliminate all the Demon Wing clan on Tianhuang. After following Tran Hung and the others into the Demon Imperial City, Night Sorrow went to the eye socket of the giant skull. He then sat down cross-legged. As he channeled his energy, the golden flame on his body shot up into the sky and burned the skull. As the fire of virtue burned, the skull of the Demon Wing clan ancestor was destroyed little by little. Feeling that it was effective, Night Sorrow's doppelganger emerged from his body and went to the other eye socket of the skull. He attacked both places at the same time. Tran Hung and King Yowu were guarding Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger respectively. They knew that nothing would happen, but they were still worried. Now that Night Sorrow was the backbone of the Celestial Realm, the next person to fight the demon ancestor could only be Night Sorrow. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio. In the alternate dimension, Zhu Jiuyun was looking at the crystal ball in front of him. His eyes were filled with killing intent. It was a concentric crystal ball. The other one was at the top of the skull of the Demon Imperial City. When it was stimulated by energy, it could reflect the entire situation of the Demon Imperial City. Don't leave any leeway. Don't give us a chance. Give us a chance to slaughter the celestial realm. Mo Yutian said with hatred. He had just come out of seclusion and was already at the divine soul unity realm. Middle-class merit emperor. The demon imperial city has become a stepping stone for his merit cultivation. If we knew this would happen, we should have destroyed it ourselves. Not enough boldness, our foresight and boldness are still not enough. Demon Nine Clouds muttered softly. My lord, this is a weapon forged for you. Although it is not as good as the great desolate war halberd, it is still the best material of my race. Mo Enchanting took out a war halberd from his spatial treasure and handed it to Demon Nine Clouds. Holding a weapon that was almost the same as Knight Sorrow's reincarnation sky halberd, Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. The weapon was good, but it was still different from the great desolate war halberd that he used before. My lord, this subordinate is incompetent and can only do this. Noticing Demon Nine Clouds' eyes, Mo Enchanting knew that Demon Nine Clouds was very dissatisfied. Don't worry. Nourish it with your own energy and it can be used. Don't feel guilty or blame yourself. It wasn't easy for you to defend the demon-winged race to this day. The demon-winged race's decline isn't because you didn't do your best. It is because the 100 races of the celestial realm have truly produced a great figure. Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Enchanting and Mo Yutian. My lord, Enchanting really doesn't understand. How did that fellow's merit cultivation and taboo attribute come about? Is he really blessed by the heavens? Mo Enchanting asked in confusion. Knight Sorrow might be this seat's greatest enemy in this life. In fact, he is also this seat's best friend. If it wasn't for my race, this seat really wouldn't want to come to this step. Blessed by the heavens. That is one of the reasons. Right now, it is a great era where the old and new supreme worlds are replacing each other. He was born in this great era, and with his own hard work, he was blessed by the heavens, allowing him to have his current achievements. Apart from the different races, he is a person worthy of respect. You don't understand his world, and you don't know his efforts. No matter what happens in the future, he is already a legend. Demon Nine Clouds said. After hearing Demon Nine Clouds' words, Mo Enchanting and Mo Yutian didn't say anything. After Demon Nine Clouds appeared, Mo Enchanting had asked Mo Yutian to gather information. He knew about the origins of Demon Nine Clouds and the relationship between Demon Nine Clouds and Knight Sorrow. The hateful thing is that Mo Tianji became a traitor and helped Knight Sorrow solve many of his problems, causing us to be passive. Mo Yutian said somewhat angrily. Mo Tianji, she is not a traitor. In this reincarnation cycle, she has contributed a lot to the demon-winged race. She was captured by Knight Sorrow, and actually fought to the end for the demon-winged race. She had no choice but to sever her karma and start a new life. She doesn't owe the demon-winged race anything, nor did she let anyone down. It's just that from the bottom of your heart, you are not willing to accept it. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Chapter 23-25. That's your intuition. Let me put it this way. If Mo Tianji had betrayed us, the demon imperial city would have been destroyed long ago. Our people wouldn't have had the chance to retreat safely. As for Knight Sorrow's Thousand Realms defensive body, I don't know the details, but it might have come from the World Tree. You should know that the World Tree's defense is the Thousand Realms defensive body. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Mo Enchanting and Mo Yutian didn't say anything. Their feelings for the heavenly concubine were complicated. I used to hate her, but she didn't come when the celestial realm came to destroy the demon imperial city. This shows that she still cares about old times, so I'll let it go. In the future, she will be her, and we will be us. From another point of view, even if we lose and die in battle, the demon-winged clan can survive in another way with the heavenly concubine around, Demon Nine Clouds said. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian nodded. Some things were clear to them, and they could think it through. Mo Julian instructed them not to wake her up unless there was something important. Then, his main body entered his spatial treasure and began cultivating. His clone sat beside his main body, constantly using his soul power to nourish the soul fragments within his main body. If he could awaken his main body without losing his clone, Mo Julian was unwilling to lose it. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian looked at each other. They still had hope in their hearts because the demon ancestor was strong enough. Once the demon ancestor's original body woke up, the demon-winged clan would have a chance. Night Sorrow continued to cultivate as usual. He continued to release the fire of virtue to burn the skulls of the demon imperial city. His true body and doppelganger continued to sink because the skull beneath him was annihilated. Time slipped away in this state. In the blink of an eye, a few years had passed. 2 grooves appeared on the demon imperial city's skull from the eyes to the chin. They were burned by Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger. From the eyes to the ground, Night Sorrow took more than 5 years. After returning to the camp, Night Sorrow had a drink with Tran Hung and King Yawu. Night Sorrow, the demon imperial city's skull can't be recovered. We'll clean up the rest. Take your family back. Tran Hung said. I won't go back first. My original body entered the spatial treasure to cultivate. My doppelganger, burn the skull's face. Night Sorrow glanced at the huge skull. The skull. The skull. The demon imperial city. In 9 years. Night Sorrow took down the facade of the demon imperial city's skull. The other races in the celestial realm also cleared out the demon imperial city. They cleared out all the buildings. The only thing left was the cracked statue of the heavenly concubine. Lin Piaomiao sent people to take it back to the ethereal imperial city. The heavenly concubine had done a great service to the races in the celestial realm and the 9 zones world. Therefore, the statue should be kept. Night Sorrow, Tran Hung, and King Yawu all supported this. In the hearts of Tran Hung and King Yawu, the heavenly concubine used to be an opponent. That was a matter of standpoint. There was no personal grudge. After the heavenly concubine came to the 9 zones world, the past grudges were over. Later on, the heavenly concubine fought against the ancient cultivators for the celestial realm. This was a great service to the celestial realm. They had to thank her. After the demon imperial city was taken care of, Night Sorrow planned to leave. King Yawu wanted to stay. However, Night Sorrow and Tran Hung disagreed. The Tianhuang region is not suitable for the development of the races in the celestial realm. There is no point in staying. Most importantly, once the demon ancestor returns, you will become a live target. You will be in danger. Tran Hung explained why they disagreed. Okay, then we will listen to you. Let's go back. This damn thing is completely taken care of. King Yawu nodded. The face of the giant skull of the demon imperial city was empty. The face had been sent to the Tianhuang city by the Council of Elders. It was sent to the space at the bottom of the Tianhuang Tower to be suppressed. In other words, as long as the Tianhuang city was not destroyed, the skull of the demon imperial city would be missing. It should be said that as long as the Tianhuang Tower was not destroyed, the Tianhuang city and the Tianhuang Tower could not be compared. The Tianhuang Tower was Night Sorrow's treasure now. Besides, even if the skull was taken out, the demon imperial city could not be completely restored. An unbreakable fortress was the past. Everyone in the celestial realm retreated, leaving behind the missing skull, which was constantly making all kinds of screeching sounds in the wind. 10 years. From the attack to the retreat, the races in the celestial realm used a whole 10 years to destroy the demon imperial city. Night Sorrow's original body had been cultivating in seclusion for 5 years in real time. He had accelerated his cultivation for more than 300 years. His Qi realm had reached the middle stage of the tribulation of the 8 emperors. See head J** hair. During the confrontation with the skull, Night Sorrow had been affected by the energy impact. His Wuji attribute, which had been stuck for a long time, had advanced to the 9th level monarch realm, the Emperor Tribulation. Night Sorrow's taboo attribute had also advanced to the peak. Of course, there was still a long way to go for the Wuji attribute to advance from the Emperor Tribulation to the Emperor Tribulation. That was also the path of Night Sorrow's taboo attribute from the peak to the peak. However, there was only one bottleneck on this path, which was the bottleneck from the tribulation of the 9 emperors to the Emperor Tribulation. Before that, it could be continuously improved. Soon, Night Sorrow knew that he was getting closer and closer to the peak. When his Qi realm reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors, then he could develop towards the divine soul unity realm. Tran Hung and King Yo Wu also knew about Night Sorrow's situation. When Night Sorrow reached the divine soul unity realm, he would not be afraid of a half-step divine emperor. The 100 races of the celestial realm returned to the heavenly desolate city. Relying on the strong defense of the city, even if the demon-winged clan came back, they would not be able to cross this line of defense. Of course, the demon ancestors' attack was another matter. Lord Tran Hung, Lord Martial Uncle, then I will go home. If there is anything, send me a message. I will come over at any time, Night Sorrow said to Tran Hung and King Yo Wu when they reached the heavenly desolate city. Okay. After so many years, you must be tired. Although the demon ancestor will awaken, it will take a long time. You should relax during this time and slowly stabilize your cultivation. Tran Hung nodded to Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow brought his wife and children, as well as the god-slaying team, back to the Night Moon Villa of the Ethereal Dynasty. In the villa, the heavenly concubine stood with her hands behind her back, looking at her own sculpture. Looking at your own sculpture, what do you think? Lin Piaomiao asked. Hee hee. Everyone is very rational. I thought that many people would try to smash her into pieces. The heavenly concubine smiled. Chapter 23-26. At this moment, the cracks on the heavenly concubine statue were indeed much smaller. Night Sorrow and the others understood that the heavenly concubine's contribution to the celestial realm was acknowledged by the heavens. The cracks on the heavenly concubine statue were smaller when it reached Night Moon Villa. You will get your rewards for your efforts, Night Sorrow said with a smile. You guys left for 10 years. I was bored to death, the heavenly concubine said with a smile. Now that you're back, it should be peaceful for a while. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the Demon Wing clan would not appear for a while. The next time they appeared would be when the demon ancestor awakened, and when he was confident. After resting for 2 days in Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array to the ancient world passage next to Evil Punisher. Seeing Night Sorrow, Sect Elder Duan was very happy. He knew that the demon Imperial City had been breached, and he also saw the memory crystal bowl. He knew that today's good situation came from Night Sorrow's efforts. Tran Hung and King Yo Wu were very strong, but they could not break the demon Imperial City. The demon Imperial City had been through thousands of cycles of wind and rain, which proved its defensive power. Sect Elder Duan, have the ancient cultivators made any moves recently? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. Some ancient cultivators are approaching. They probably did not hear about the previous war, but there are no large groups, Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Now that everything was stable, he was in a good mood. The situation is not bad, but we can't let our guard down. The Black Armor King and the others brought too many people. After these people escaped, they will spread the news. It's true that it will create a deterrent effect, but there are many cultivators who are confident. There are also many who don't want to admit defeat. If there is another battle, then the ones who will appear will be true experts, said Yishan. You are right. We must be prepared for danger in times of peace. Sect Elder Duan nodded. Then I will have to trouble you here, Sect Elder Duan, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. \% and what are you talking about? For the stability of the celestial realm, every cultivator should contribute. You have contributed more. Sect Elder Duan shook his head. Then Knight Sorrow said that he wanted to go back to the 9 domains world to cultivate. In your 1,000 years of life, the 700 years of sleep was the easiest. The rest of the time, you worked hard. But you will reach the soul realm. You just need to accumulate and accumulate. You do not need to work, Sect Elder said. No one doubted whether Yishang could reach the divine soul unity realm because his body had already reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors. His true chi cultivation and soul realm would follow closely behind under the pull of the path of strength. After his true chi cultivation and soul realm reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors, Yishang could consider breaking through to the divine soul unity realm. I really need to rest. I owe my family too much. I need to spend time with them. Also, I am here to give something to the Grand Elder. Knight Sorrow took out a small bundle of soul-nurturing grass and handed it to Sect Elder Duan. This is soul-nurturing grass. Sect Elder Duan took the soul-nurturing grass and sniffed it. He knew about the soul-nurturing grass. He knew that Knight Sorrow gave King Yawu and Tran Hung some soul-nurturing grass. However, he did not mind. Good steel should be used on the blade. Other than Knight Sorrow, only Tran Hung and King Yawu had the chance to reach the God-destroying tribulation in the celestial realm. I was busy a while ago, Knight Sorrow said. I did not give it to the Grand Elder. Also, I gave some to my uncle and Tran Hung. I was worried that if I collected too much, it would hurt the roots of the soul-nurturing grass. Knight Sorrow, thank you. Sect Elder Duan took out a jar of wine and drank with Knight Sorrow. He told Sect Elder Duan to send him a message if he needed anything. Knight Sorrow went to the teleport device. The celestial realm's races are rising. With the world tree, the celestial realm will not be destroyed. What can the wind and rain do? Sect Elder Duan mumbled as he watched Knight Sorrow teleport away. Yes. The celestial realm's races are rising. Blood Kirin King came down from the teleport device. He teleported in the opposite direction of Knight Sorrow. He did not see Knight Sorrow, but he heard what Sect Elder Duan said. Come, let's have a drink. Sect Elder Duan kept the soul-nurturing grass. He knew that everyone would not mind some things, but he could not say anything about the soul-nurturing grass. Also, Knight Sorrow could give it to whoever he wanted. That was Knight Sorrow's business. If he gave it, it was a favor. If he did not give it, it was his duty. Grand Elder also knew that there was not much soul-nurturing grass. He had to use it where it was most needed. Knight Sorrow went to Night Moon Villa. He brought all his family members, including Lan Ning and Red Yi, back to the 9 domains world. I feel much better. After exiting the 9 domains world's teleport device, Yang lay stretched. She knew about the Demon 9 clouds, but she had confidence in Knight Sorrow. She knew that if Knight Sorrow had time, he could solve all these problems. Yes. It is so comfortable in our own territory, Sikong Chuyu said happily. After telling the others to go home, Knight Sorrow went to the world tree. When Knight Sorrow arrived, a branch of the world tree drooped down and swayed in front of him. Knight Sorrow smiled and shook the branch. He knew that the world tree was greeting him. The world tree had intelligence. Although she was still young and immature, she could feel Knight Sorrow's immense power of merit. Therefore, she instinctively felt close to him. Live well. Don't be in a hurry to grow. You have a lot of time. Night Sorrow smiled. After checking, everything was normal. Night Sorrow went to the world origin and asked about the situation. The 9 domains world was in a period of rapid development. It would connect with some of the surrounding worlds. Therefore, Night Sorrow wanted to understand the situation of the surrounding worlds. The world origin told Night Sorrow that because the 9 domains world was expanding, it was indeed connected to some worlds. The aura of some of these worlds was still being identified. They still needed to check if they were evil worlds. Then I will have to trouble you, world sovereign. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the world origin. The world origin moved slightly, avoiding Yi Chang's cupped fist salute. World sovereign, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was stunned. In the 9 domains world, I am the world origin. I am noble, but I am the same as you, the world lord of the origin. However, it's different now that you've become the virtuous emperor. No matter which world you go to, the world's origin will have to obey your orders. This is the prestige of the virtuous emperor, the world's origin body explained. We don't need to do this. The 9 domains world is a big family. World sovereign is the leader of this big family. Night Sorrow smiled. But the world lord is the most capable person in this big family. The 9 domains world origin smiled. Chapter 23-27. After greeting the world tree once more, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. With the development of the 9 regions world and the deliberate actions of the world origin, the cliff where the city in the sky was located had risen from the ground. It was now a true city in the sky. Below the cliff was a lingering cloud formed by dense energy. Below the cloud was a vast and boundless lake. There was a pleasure boat floating on the lake. It was Father Gu, who was fishing. After returning home, Night Sorrow congratulated his parents and grandfather. In the 10 years that he had been away, there were people from the Yi family who had entered the imperial capital one after another. Apart from his parents, Yi Linghuan and Yi Lingxie had entered the imperial capital one after another. Where's 6th uncle? I haven't seen him in a long time, Night Sorrow asked after greeting his parents and grandfather. In the Yi family, the first person he had come into contact with was King Ling Xie and Yi Lingxie. Their relationship was also the best. He's here, he's here. I knew that you were back, so I ran over. It's rare that you're still thinking about 6th uncle. While Night Sorrow was speaking, Yi Lingxie appeared. He went down the teleportation array and arrived at the mansion in 2 flashes. Congratulations, 6th uncle. Night Sorrow and his wife cupped their hands towards Yi Lingxie. Don't be like this. Night Sorrow, you're the Merit Emperor. How can you greet others so casually? Yi Lingxie stretched out his hand and stopped Night Sorrow. What are you saying, 6th uncle? No matter how accomplished Night Sorrow is, I'm still your grandnephew, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Everyone sat down and Yi Qingyan made tea for everyone. In the city in the sky, there weren't many servants. The gardeners and street cleaners were all taken care of by Yi Wuo and Father Gu. Yu Qing also planted some vegetables. I was wondering. Some people from the Medicine Valley entered the imperial capital one after another. Our night moon shouldn't fall behind. Now, there are quite a few emperors in the night moon, Night Sorrow said with a smile. We night moon people are different from other cultivators. We night moon people have high-level attributes. After we become emperors, we become high-level emperors. Our battle power is stronger than ordinary emperors, so it is more difficult. However, our night moon has many kings. Shunxian King, Shinhua King, and Shenlei King are all kings. The younger generation is also rising. Yi Linghuan explained to Night Sorrow. It was not that Night Moon did not work hard and was slower than others in becoming a martial emperor. It was just that it was difficult. After more than 1,000 years of stable development, our night moon's younger generation has also developed. They are following the path you have walked and looking for your footprints, Yi Linghuan said. Yes, I went to the night moon's imperial capital once and was called granduncle. It was very embarrassing, Yi Shaoluo said. Then you should hurry up. Those who should get married, and those who should have children, have children. When the time comes, I will hold my grandson's hand and carry him to the celestial realm. It will be very domineering, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Father, the point is, if we have children, you, mother, and auntie will give us a younger brother or sister. How awkward will that be? Yi Qingyan said. You bastard girl, you say everything. Aoi glared at her daughter. You are thinking too much. It's not that I want to say how great my achievements are, but at this level, it is almost impossible for me to have children, Night Sorrow said. If your father has children, their bloodline will reach the king level after they are born. They can easily become emperors. The heavenly Tao is fair. It is indeed very difficult, Heavenly Concubine, who had been drinking tea and had not said anything, said. I have a father, a son, and a daughter. The 6 of you are enough, Night Sorrow said with a smile. The family chatted casually. Yi Sheng emphasized that if their children were married, they should have children, and if they weren't married, they should work hard too. While chatting, Huo Wu went to the city in the sky and asked for an audience. Night Sorrow asked Yi Yujun to bring Huo Wu into the mansion. Realm Lord, this subordinate has just killed a member of the 100 races of the celestial realm, Huo Wu said with a bow. Which faction does he belong to? What mistake did he make? Night Sorrow's teacup paused for a moment before he asked. He is from the Brocade Palace. Their ancestor is the Council of Elders Law Enforcement Elder, Emperor Tang. A disciple of their family left the designated area and went to a small city in the Qingtian region to buy property. He also has the intention of forming a faction, Huo Wu said. $X, kill. Behead him. Night Sorrow nodded. He would not tolerate such a thing. He allowed the 100 races of the celestial realm to move because he was worried that ancient cultivators would kill their way into the celestial realm and cause great suffering. Now that this hedonistic son had formed a faction, it was obvious that he did not care about the rules of the Commander-in-Chief's residence. Then this subordinate will continue to patrol. Huo Wu bowed. Go. It is a difficult time. If there are others like this, continue to drag them to the Commander-in-Chief's residence and behead them. Night Sorrow nodded to Huo Wu. After Huo Wu left, Night Sorrow cupped his fists to his parents, grandfather, Yi Lingxie, and wife. I did not want to bring these matters home, but they still happened. What's wrong with that? If there is a problem, then deal with it. If there is a problem, then deal with it, Yi Linghuan said. He did not expect that Night Sorrow would have a backup plan and even sent people to monitor. At this time, in the Commander-in-Chief's residence, Huang Ling's expression was not good. Huo Wu had dragged the people of the Brocade Palace to the entrance of the Commander-in-Chief's residence and announced the hedonistic son's crimes before beheading him without giving her a chance to speak. Daughter. It is my fault for not handling it well enough. The people of the 9 realms have to clean it up personally. Night Sorrow will not be satisfied, Huang Ling said. Wu Lingfei did not say anything. She was a little angry. Some things have been emphasized time and time again, but someone still dared to mess around. Brocade Palace. Lord Ling Huang, you should inform the people of the Brocade Palace to come over. We must give an explanation for this matter. If the human emperor comes personally, then it will be troublesome, Elder Ling Shu said. Yes, it must be dealt with, lest the other forces have to bear the evil reputation. If there is a sign, then it must be stopped. Men, inform Emperor Tang to come over, Huang Ling said to the people of the Council of Elders. Everyone, there is no need to be too worried. Every force has a black sheep. The Realm Lord will not implicate others, said Tai Shu Yen. At this time, Emperor Tang had already received the news. He was furious. His descendant had been beheaded. He was heartbroken, but he was even angrier. He did not blame anyone, because some rules had been set. It was his descendant who had stepped on the line, and should have crossed the line. Great ancestor, you must speak up for your descendant. Even if he had bought property, he should not have been beheaded directly. The person in charge of the Brocade Palace in the Nine Realms world bowed to Emperor Tang. Slap. Tang Zong gave him a tight slap. Chapter 23-28. After Fire Dance left, Night Sorrow calmed down. He felt that it wasn't appropriate for him to deal with this matter directly. That would embarrass Emperor Tang. Emperor Tang didn't want to see a black sheep appear among his descendants. Night Sorrow understood Emperor Tang's character very well. He was an elder who paid great attention to virtue. He felt that Emperor Tang would deal with this matter after learning about it. Emperor Tang brought the person in charge of Brocade Hall to the Nine Regions World's Commander-in-Chief's residence. Then, he apologized to Huang Ling and Tai Shu Yen and said that Brocade Hall was willing to accept some punishment. Elder Emperor Tang, you don't have to blame yourself. Personal behavior isn't a big problem. As long as Brocade Hall is still on the planned route, it's fine, Tai Shu Yen said. Deputy Commander-in-Chief Tai Shu, please rest assured. Brocade Hall Manor will definitely develop according to the Commander-in-Chief's residence's plan. Those who are disobedient will be executed. There's no need for you to execute them. If anything happens, send a message to me and I'll deal with it myself. I won't tolerate it. In addition, if something like this happens again, Brocade Hall Manor will withdraw from the Nine Regions world. They won't have the face to continue living, Emperor Tang said. Then it's fine. Elder Emperor Tang, please don't blame the Nine Regions world for being strict. The Realm Lord and we are determined to give our all for the Nine Regions world, Tai Shu Yen said because Emperor Tang had shown his attitude and determination. Then, at Emperor Tang's request, Tai Shu Yen and Wu Lingfei brought him to Sky City. He wanted to explain to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, who had finished drinking with Yi Linghuan and Emperor Tang, saw Emperor Tang arrive and quickly invited him to sit down and drink tea. Emperor Tang sat down and opened his mouth to explain to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his hand. Emperor Tang, since you're here, things should be more or less settled. Let's drink tea. Try this tea. It should be very authentic. Emperor Tang exhaled and drank his tea. He knew that Night Sorrow didn't want to embarrass him, so he didn't mention the incident. After drinking a few cups of tea, Night Sorrow brought Emperor Tang around for a look before sending him off. Most L New Chapter W4 on You. After leaving Sky City, Emperor Tang went to Jintang Manor and gathered all of his descendants. Then he talked about how rare it was to enter the Nine Realms world. Afterwards, he told his descendants that the rules set by the Commander-in-Chief's residence were ironclad rules that absolutely could not be broken. If any of his clansmen broke the rules, apart from being executed, he would also make the decision to leave the Nine Regions world. It was only then that the people of Jintang residence realized how serious the situation was. They also understood Emperor Tang's determination to deal with the problem. This matter was only a small disturbance, so Night Sorrow went to rest. This time, it was a true rest. His main body accompanied his family every day, and every once in a while, he would take his wives around the Nine Regions world for a walk. A few years passed in the blink of an eye. One day, while drinking tea, Sikong Chuyu said, Night Sorrow, we know that you want to accompany us, but you're currently increasing your cultivation. When you reach the peak and don't need to cultivate anymore, you can accompany us. That way, everyone will feel at ease. We've been together a lot these past few years, but there's been no reaction at all. It seems that it's quite difficult to have a child, Yang Lei said. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Apart from Yang Lei, no one else would bring up the matter between husband and wife. Indeed, let's not think about it for now. Knight Sorrow, you should go and cultivate. Datura nodded. Over the past few years, Knight Sorrow had been with his wives every day, but there had been no reaction from them. That's fine. Then my main body will go into seclusion, and my clone will accompany you. Actually, other than that, there's no difference between the clone and the main body, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Knight Sorrow's main body went into seclusion, relaxing for a few years. To him, this was also a consolidation. Cultivating in a relaxed state would allow him to achieve twice the results with half the effort. In the blink of an eye, another few decades passed. The city in the sky welcomed the fourth generation. It started with Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing, who lived in the city in the sky for a long time. The fourth generation of the Yi clan was born, and it was the child of Yi Yujun and Qin Ziyin. Her name was Knight Sorrow, and it was Yi Zi. Yi Zi was born in the morning, and the weather was very good. It was the weather of purple qi coming from the east. Yi Zi was a true treasure. She was the baby of her uncles and aunts, and the grandmothers all loved her dearly. Yi Zi liked to spend time with Knight Sorrow. She followed Knight Sorrow around every day like a handyman. From the moment she could stand and run, she only knew how to pour wine and tea for Knight Sorrow. On this day, Knight Sorrow received news that there was another war at the ancient world's passageway. King Wu and Heavenly Concubine, who had received the news, also went there. Under such circumstances, Knight Sorrow did not move. If the situation was serious, King Wu and the Grand Elder would inform him. His Xinqi cultivation was currently breaking through the bottleneck of the tribulation of 9 emperors. In addition, the Yi clan also had a wedding to celebrate. Knight Sorrow and Lu Qi had proposed marriage for Yi Xiaoluo. The day of the wedding was just around the corner. Yi Xiaoluo's friends had all arrived. His closest friends, Jing Yu and Langley, were helping him arrange the wedding. When their team member Cuckoo appeared, Knight Sorrow was stunned. Isn't it a little strange? We should talk. Cuckoo cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. Cuckoo. Seeing Cuckoo cupping his hands, Langley opened his mouth. He felt that it was a little strange. You guys go do what you need to do. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and interrupted Langley. All these years, he had guided Langley and the others in their cultivation when he was free. He owed them a debt of gratitude. After that, Knight Sorrow brought Cuckoo to the wooden boat on the lake beside the city in the sky. How should I address you? Knight Sorrow asked as he brewed a pot of tea. It's just a name. It's not important. Cuckoo said. It's very important because you are a flag of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Your return should be very encouraging. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He recognized Cuckoo. Cuckoo's soul aura was of the same origin as the soul imprint left by Yi Tianxin in the Heaven Wasteland Tower. In other words, Cuckoo was Yi Tianxin. Knight Sorrow was a little puzzled that he did not sense Cuckoo the first few times he saw him. A flag, maybe. Actually, I revealed my identity to you to tell you that the retreat of the demon-winged clan is temporary. According to the prophecy of my people, a demon king will appear at the end of this reincarnation era. He might be the demon ancestor. Cuckoo, who was Yi Tianxin, said. Demon king. The demon ancestor will definitely awaken. Don't worry, I'm mentally prepared. Also, Knight Sorrow thanks you for the heavenly chant. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards Yi Tianxin. He knew that the woman in front of him was worthy of respect. She was once the all-powerful Shura Empress. She once killed her way in and out of the demon imperial city. However, she could only kill her way in. She was suppressed and did not achieve a decisive victory. You already know. Yi Tianqin was stunned. Knight Sorrow nodded and told him about the demon 9 clouds and some of his estimations. Chapter 23-29. The name of the book was Heavenly Sword Art. The heavenly sword art that I left behind was flawed. It was too slow to activate and could not become a mainstream combat absolute art. This has been modified, Yi Tianqin said. Thank you, my lord. Knight Sorrow did not stand on ceremony. In fact, he did not use Heavenly Sword Art much anymore because it was too slow to activate. No one is qualified to call you Lord. You are the real human emperor. Let us get to know each other. I am Yi Tianqin. After Kiki finished speaking, the energy on her body vibrated. The energy on her face changed, and another woman appeared. Her figure, face, aura, and attire changed. She was like a different person from Kiki. Yi Tianqin was wearing a white dress with red edges, a red collar, and red cuffs. Her face was pale, and there was a red sword mark between her eyebrows. Her blood-red hair was tied behind her head. She held a blood-red sword in her left hand. Her cultivation realm was very high. Tribulation of the 9 Emperors. This is the real style of the Empress. In fact, the 100 races of the celestial realm are very sullen. The devil-winged clan had an expert who successfully reincarnated, but why didn't the 100 races of the celestial realm have one? Now, this regret is gone. It is just that the Empress hid it very well and only appeared after so long. Knight Sorrow looked at Yi Tianqin, who had a shocking aura. Every soul reincarnator has a different experience, and the success rate is very low. When a cultivator reaches the tribulation of the 9 emperors, they are faced with a choice. Because of the divine soul unity realm, the success rate of soul reincarnation is almost negligible. It is fighting for a slim chance of survival. I already know about the demon ancestor's situation. Her soul was able to successfully reincarnate because of the God Annihilation Tribulation. It is considered a half-completed state. Her soul is strong enough to withstand the corrosion and annihilation of the heavenly Tao energy. My success was also due to luck. Because of the secret treasure, a trace of my soul was not destroyed, Yi Tianqin said. So that's the case. After knowing that the devil ancestor's soul had reincarnated, I thought that the records about the divine soul unity realm not having the chance to reincarnate were wrong. It seems like the records were right. My lord and the devil ancestor had different opportunities. Knight Sorrow said after pouring a cup of tea for Yi Tianqin. Yes, after cultivating to the divine soul unison realm, there is almost no chance for the soul to reincarnate and cultivate again. Those who can cultivate to the tribulation of the 9 emperors are all cultivators. None of them would voluntarily give up the opportunity to break through to the divine soul unison realm and the God-destroying tribulation. Because even if the soul reincarnates, the chances of cultivating to the emperor realm in the next life is very low, Yi Tianqin said. Knight Sorrow looked at Yi Tianqin and asked, so that's how it is. Then should I tell Tran Hung and my martial uncle about your return? Not for the time being. I want to live a quiet life. Also, don't leak the news. If the Demon Wings clan comes back again, we can have a backup plan. I can fight anyone below the Divine Emperor realm, said Yi Tianqin. Domineering. He could not fight anyone below the Divine Soul Unison realm, but those below the Divine Emperor realm. The meaning was different. Okay, I respect your choice, Knight Sorrow nodded. Knight Sorrow had always addressed Yi Tianqin respectfully as Yi Tianqin was one of the most meritorious sages of the 100 clans in the celestial realm. He was the strongest sage. Okay, then I am Cuckoo now. Yi Tianxin's energy changed and returned to Kuku's appearance. Later on, Yi Tianxin told Night Sorrow that her real memory awakened when Night Sorrow went to the Scarlet Night world to rescue her. That time, Night Sorrow's attack shocked her. After some of the images in her memory appeared, she knew who she was. She chose to go through the tribulation in the world domain. After she failed, her soul's secret treasure protected a trace of her soul, so her soul did not perish. She drifted in the void for countless years and fell into countless reincarnations before she reached a spatial world and completed her soul reincarnation. After the reincarnation, Yi Tianxin, who had no memory, began his cultivation journey. Later on, he came to the celestial realm and became friends with Jingyu, Langli, and Yi Xiaoluo. If you don't have a fixed residence, you can live in the 9-domain world. You are friends with Xiaoluo, Night Sorrow invited him. That's good. Xiaoluo and Lu Yu are my friends. I am very happy that they are together. So when I heard the news, I stopped my seclusion and rushed over, Yi Tianxin said. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow brought Yi Tianxin to see Yi Xiaoluo and let Yi Xiaoluo receive him. At this time, Yi Tianxin was wearing Kuku's appearance, so no one noticed anything. Yi Tianxin's appearance made Night Sorrow very happy. The heavenly Tao was fair. The demon ancestor of the Demon Wing clan was about to awaken, and the 100 races of the celestial realm also had powerful people returning. As for the chances of passing the god-destroying tribulation, perhaps the demon ancestor had a higher chance. However, Night Sorrow felt that after Yi Tianxin failed to pass the god-destroying tribulation, his soul had not been destroyed. This also showed his strength. There was also a chance for him to pass the god-destroying tribulation a second time. Of course, Night Sorrow also understood that Yi Tianxin was sacrificing part of his lifespan to cultivate so fiercely. Yi Xiaoluo's wedding was very lively because he had friends in the world of reincarnation and the celestial realm. The Red Emperor, the First Emperor, and the others were all here. In addition, Wuji World's Yan Tianpe and Lin Ruoxu were also here. Night Sorrow informed them. He knew that if he didn't invite them, Yan Tianpe and Lin Ruoxu wouldn't attend the wedding where so many experts gathered. Upon seeing Yan Tianpe and Lin Ruoxu, Night Sorrow personally received them and addressed them as uncle and aunt. This made Yan Tianpe and Lin Ruoxu very moved. They stayed in the Wuji world, but sometimes they would go to the celestial realm to move around. Hence, they knew Night Sorrow's identity and status now. In addition, Big Dipper King, Xian Sky King, Shen Shao King, Purple Firmament King, and Hai Lan Realm Lord were all here. Hai Lan Realm Lord was invited by Long Jin. Long Jin was already an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. He was from the Golden Dragon race, but he was born in the royal family of the Hai Lan realm. He didn't forget the care and nurturing that the Hai Lan clan gave him. Night Sorrow also used his son's wedding as an excuse to gather with his old friends. Bringing his grandson and meeting his old friends made Night Sorrow feel very good. After the wedding ended and the guests were sent off, Night Sorrow's clone went into seclusion. Because the battle at the ancient world's spatial passageway was still very intense, King Yewu and the heavenly concubine often went out to fight. King Yewu asked Shiryu to bring a gift, but the heavenly concubine didn't return. This made Night Sorrow know that the situation wasn't simple. Although the demon-winged race would be the biggest enemy of the celestial realm in the future, Night Sorrow didn't underestimate the ancient cultivators of the ancient worlds. With a long history, there would be many experts. There would be many variables. Night Sorrow wouldn't be surprised if a half-step God Emperor realm expert appeared one day. In fact, Night Sorrow was worried that there might not be any God Emperor realm ancient cultivators. From the appearance of a supreme world to a sub-supreme world, it would take 2,000 reincarnation cycles of lifespan. The ancient worlds were formed by the fragments of countless supreme worlds. It could be seen that the ancient worlds had existed for countless years. Some things were unknown, and the unknown was the most terrifying. Chapter 23:30. Night Sorrow did not tell Tran Hung and King Yewu about Yi Tianqin. He did not even tell his wife. He felt that this was a trump card of the celestial realm, and the fewer people who knew about it, the better. In addition, the matter of the Jintang Palace made the people of the celestial realm who came to the nine-domain world to be cautious. The fact of the Jintang Palace told them that they had no sense of superiority in the nine-domain world. They could come to the nine-domain world because their ancestors had contributed to the celestial realm. They were nothing. If they dared to make a mistake, the law enforcement team of the nine-domain world would not be polite and would directly kill them without warning. The law enforcement team of the Jintang Palace was severely criticized by Huang Ling. Because it was not Night Sorrow who discovered it, the law enforcement team did not notice. Yi Shang was still cultivating. The true energy realm's tribulation of the nine emperors was a bottleneck. Although there was a cultivation method of using strength to prove one's Tao, it was not easy to break through the tribulation of the nine emperors with true energy cultivation. When the Thousand Realms defense body reached the 13th world, Night Sorrow's doppelganger came out of seclusion. While the main body continued to cultivate, he left the celestial realm and went to Tianhua to take a look at the demon imperial city. It had been some time since the last time the city was broken. He wanted to see if the demon-winged clan had made any moves. In reality, what Night Sorrow saw was a huge, faceless skull standing tall in the wind. It let out ghostly howls as it was blown by the wind, recounting its past glory. In the different space, Demon Nine Clouds had been cultivating hard. Mo Zhantian was recovering from his injuries. The last time he entered the celestial realm, he was seriously injured by King Yewu with the help of Night Sorrow. He burned his essence blood and destroyed his foundation. Now he was recovering. Mo Yutian was stabilizing his cultivation. He had just entered the Soul Unity realm and needed to stabilize his cultivation. In addition, Mo Yutian was meditating. When Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian asked, she had to provide the information she had gathered. You Febs read novels forever. The people under the command of Dark Feather had entered another domain and laid low. She just ordered people to set up the transmission formation and did nothing else, mainly because she did not want to arouse the vigilance of the 100 races of the celestial realm. In addition, after Mo Yuqing saw the memory crystal ball of Night Sorrow killing a soul unity expert, he couldn't understand and was deeply affected. She was the pride of the Devil Wing clan. She had once been on the same side as Night Sorrow. But now, the difference between the two of them was like heaven and earth. In front of Night Sorrow, she was nothing more than an ant. If she dared to stand in front of Night Sorrow could crush her to death with just a pinky. After walking around the Devil Imperial City, Night Sorrow left. He knew that the Devil Wing clan had not completely retreated and still had strongholds in the celestial realm. Because the Devil Wing clan had retreated too calmly, they had retreated prepared and had time to prepare for some things. After leaving the Devil Imperial City, Night Sorrow went to the Divine Capital to drink with Lu Qi. Now that the Lu and Yi families were in-laws, Night Sorrow went to the Humanitarian League to see Pu Luo, Great Demon King, Yu Zhu, Rui Si, and Jun Xuanji. They were very happy to see Night Sorrow. They hadn't seen Night Sorrow for a while and knew that Night Sorrow was busy, so they didn't disturb him. Since you're here, let's drink a few more cups, Pu Luo said. If I don't come, you won't go to the nine-domain world, Night Sorrow said as he sat down. Aren't you trying to break through your cultivation now? We'll wait for you to break through and then we'll go find you to eat and drink, Pu Luo said with a smile. I'll be waiting for you anytime. Night Sorrow nodded. The people in the Humanitarian League were his life and death brothers, so whenever they went, Night Sorrow would welcome them. Mainly. They're all working hard on their cultivation, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. After Jun Xuanji said that, everyone laughed. Night Sorrow saw everyone's improvement in their cultivation. Pu Luo was already at the 5 Emperor Tribulation. Great Demon King and Lin Piaomia were at the 4 Emperor Tribulation, while Yu Zhu and Rui Si were at the late stage of the 3 Emperor Tribulation. Jun Xuanji's improvement was the greatest, reaching the High Emperor Tribulation. She improved quickly because she had Imo Tianji's cultivation memories. It could be said that she had a cultivation realm, so she had to work hard to cultivate and familiarize herself with it. Fen Tian was in seclusion, so he wasn't in the Humanitarian League. Everyone's efforts are very effective. It's now the great era where the new and old supreme worlds are replacing each other. Seize the opportunity and you'll rise, Night Sorrow said. That's not quite right. Where are the experts from the last reincarnation era? Where are they? Did they all die in battle? Rui Si asked. I'm calling you stupid, but you don't want to admit it. You don't even understand what I'm saying. The Alliance Master is talking about the replacement of the old and new supreme worlds, not the reincarnation era. The last time it happened was 1,000 reincarnations ago. What do you know? Yu Zhu glanced at Rui Si with disdain. I didn't understand. But Yu Zhu, your words are still so aggressive, Rui Si said with a smile. He had just come out of seclusion and hadn't seen Yu Zhu and the others for a while. In the last reincarnation era, the Celestial Realm and the Demon Wing clan produced many experts. However, they were all killed in the apocalyptic war. The Demon Wing clan only has a few young talents left. The 3 Grand Heavens are the representatives of the Celestial Realm. The 4 heroes are the representatives of the 100 clans, Jun Xuanji said. She was the person involved, so she knew everything. We know about the 3 Grand Heavens of the Demon Wing clan. Isn't the Celestial Realm the big 3? How did it become the 4 heroes? Rui Si asked. I can't help but want to insult you, but forget it. Our divine capital used to have a city lord, who was the Alliance Master's teacher, Peerless Sword Emperor. I think he should be one of the 4 heroes, Yu Zhu said. That's right. Peerless Sword Emperor Yan Wushuang was a young talent from the last reincarnation era. His cultivation was lower than Tran Hung and King Yawu, but his combat ability was not weak. He cultivated the heavenly sword technique of the Shura Empress Yi Tianxin. He grasped the forbidden element before Tran Hung and King Yawu. It's not that he grasped it early, but he showed it early, so he suffered the god-destroying tribulation early, Jun Xuanji said. Jun Xuanji said. With Mo Tianji's memories, she was now a know-it-all. She knew almost everything. So that's how it is. The forbidden energy is not easy to come into contact with. Once you come into contact with the god-destroying tribulation, it will come. This is really deadly, Pu Luo said. Yes, cultivators who have the ability to grasp the forbidden energy will only cultivate the supreme element and the 4 great elements in the early stages. They will only combine them when they are needed, or when they have to face the god-destroying tribulation, Jun Xuanji explained to everyone. It's rare for Chief Steward Jun to dispel my doubts. Some things that I couldn't figure out have been solved, Pu Luo said. Rules are rules. The heavenly law's rules cannot be broken. Whoever breaks them will have to face the heavenly law's test and punishment, Jun Xuanji said. Chapter 23:31. That's right. Rules are rules. Just like how you have to accept punishment for doing something wrong, you have to pay the price for coming into contact with the forbidden energy and possessing combat power that surpasses others. Rui Si said. Are you talking about me? It's fine if you don't comfort me, but you're attacking me. Do you think it's easy for someone like me who only has 1 era? Night Sorrow muttered unhappily. Ha! Alliance Master's lifespan is as long as the heavens. We have never doubted whether Alliance Master can survive the god-destroying tribulation. Rui Si said with a smile. But after countless reincarnations, no one has survived the god-destroying tribulation. Night Sorrow shook his head. They can't because they're not called Night Sorrow. Yuzhu nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow pounded his chest with his fist. Since his brothers had confidence in him, he had to work hard and fight for this honor. While they were talking, Fun Tian ran over. His original body was in seclusion, and his clone had just returned from walking around the ancient world's passageway. Fun Tian sat down, and Night Sorrow asked about the situation at the ancient world's passageway. How should I put it? It's very intense. Master and Heavenly Concubine often go out to kill, but they don't let us go out. We don't know the situation outside. Fun Tian said. You. Look at you. Not only can you not participate in the battle, you can't even bring back news. The Great Demon King looked at Fun Tian with disdain. I can't do anything about it. Only Master, Sect Elder Duan, and Heavenly Concubine know about the situation. I asked them once, but they ignored me. I'm too embarrassed to ask a second time. Fun Tian said with some hesitation. There won't be a problem. Inform me if there's a problem. Last time, 10 Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators attacked our celestial realm and were all killed. What can they do? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Look. Current edition of %D chapters, that's true. There's nothing to worry about. Pu Luo nodded. Night Sorrow told Pu Luo and the others to strictly restrict the development of their subordinates who had entered the 9-domain world. He also warned the direct descendants of their families not to act recklessly. We know what happened in Jintang Prefecture. This kind of thing will not happen in our humanitarian league. We will fight for your honor, League Master. Pu Luo nodded. I'm reminding you guys because I'm worried that something might go wrong. I'm worried that things might get awkward between us, Night Sorrow said. After chatting with his brothers for a while, Night Sorrow left. He arrived at the ancient world's spatial passageway. King Yewu and Sect Elder Duan didn't tell him about the situation, but he couldn't ignore it. When Night Sorrow arrived, King Yenwu, Sect Elder Duan and the Heavenly Concubine were drinking tea and chatting. After arriving, Night Sorrow first clasped his hands towards Elder Duan to express his congratulations. Elder Duan had now completely reached the God Soul Unity realm. Previously, he was in between the 9 Emperors' Tribulation and the God Soul Unity realm. Then, Night Sorrow asked about the current situation. Same as always. A group of people has gathered, but this time, they are not organized. Martial Uncle and Protector Heavenly Concubine can fight and take care of them, King Yewu said. You don't have to worry. Just focus on resting and cultivating. In the future, we will rely on you, Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Okay. If there are any problems, send me a message. I have been in seclusion recently, Night Sorrow said. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left. With King Yewu and the Heavenly Concubine here, he felt more at ease. Sitting in the teleportation array, Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world. Then, he set off with the 9-domain avatars and began to patrol the worlds around the 9-domain world. He needed to know about any hidden dangers and solve them. Night Sorrow would not invade other worlds, but there were some situations that he needed to understand. If he understood the situation, there would be emergency measures. This was a heavy workload because the 9-domain world was too big. It was not as big as the celestial realm, but it was equivalent to half of the celestial realm. If an emperor wanted to fly, it would take at least a few years. The 9-domain world's regions were connected easily because the teleportation arrays were set up well. The Commander-in-Chief's residence and Tianji Tower paid more attention to this area. If Night Sorrow wanted to investigate the situation around the 9-domain world, he would have to travel further. Normally, if one's cultivation was higher than King's, one would not be able to enter other worlds. However, this did not apply to Night Sorrow. He was the virtuous Merit Emperor and had the power of merit to protect his body. All world barriers could be broken, but it could not stop Night Sorrow from entering. Night Sorrow held a map of the 9-domain world in his hand and marked out the attributes and levels of the surrounding worlds. Night Sorrow recorded everything in detail. He didn't care how much energy he had to waste. Since he had set out to do this, he had to do it properly. This was his responsibility as a realm lord. In the radiation zone of the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow's speed was 10 times that of other Tribulation 9 Emperor's cultivators. In the 5th year of the two clones' investigation, Night Sorrow's true body had cultivated for 300 years. Finally, he broke through the limits of true energy and reached the Tribulation 9 Emperor's level, successfully passing the Lightning Tribulation. After passing the Tribulation, Night Sorrow's true body continued to stabilize his cultivation base in the Clear Heaven Pagoda. The 9-domain doppelganger and the battle doppelganger continued their investigation. Of course, the two clones had different tasks. The 9-domain doppelganger could only stay close to the 9-domain world to investigate, while the battle doppelganger could enter other worlds to investigate. 30 years, it took Night Sorrow a full 30 years to complete this project. After the investigation, Night Sorrow went to the 9-domain world's Commander-in-Chief's residence and gathered the elders and key personnel of the Commander-in-Chief's residence together. The people of the Celestial Realm's Council of Elders also participated in the meeting. The people of the Celestial Realm's 100 clans had entered the 9-domain world, so they were also responsible for some things. Marshal Uncle Tai, take this map and copy it. I've marked it. The green ones are small spatial worlds, the white ones are more distant ones, so there's no need to pay attention to them for the time being. The red ones are spatial worlds with cultivators. The black ones are the world's origin is not too good, and the cultivators are wild and aggressive. Night Sorrow handed the map to Tai Shu Yen. This is the map of the 9-domain world's borders. Tai Shu Yen was stunned for a moment because the area covered by this map was too large. There were records of distances on it. It was an immeasurably large project, but Night Sorrow had already completed it. Yes, this is the map of the 9-domain world's borders. The spatial worlds that have intersections with the 9-domain world are all recorded here. The marked areas with the black and red dots are to be stationed by the Commander-in-Chief's residence's soldiers and closely monitored. If the people of the red dots enter, there's no need to kill them, but they need to be dealt with. If the cultivators of the black dots enter, they need to be expelled directly. Night Sorrow ordered. Okay, I'll arrange it. Tai Shu Yen nodded. Chapter 2332. After 30 years of investigation, Night Sorrow had investigated too many worlds, so many that he couldn't even remember them all. Therefore, he recorded them according to the situation. Some worlds were close to the 9-domain world, so it was inevitable that they would enter the 9-domain world in the future. Everything had to be arranged in advance. Even if there was a war, it had to be fought calmly. Don't worry, Realm Lord. We will take care of it. Xiao Lanjun and Lin Daoyuan nodded. They had things to do, and it was troublesome. However, they were happy because Night Sorrow trusted Tianji Tower. Elder Xia, Master Lin Ke, the two of you wait in the ethereal Imperial City. I will contact some people and see if we can get some teleportation crystals from other races, Huang Ling said. Although Night Sorrow had asked Xia Lanjun and Lin Daoyuan to do this, Huang Ling felt that they had to help if they could. The development of the 9-domain world was important to everyone. After giving the instructions, Yi Shang left. He was very proud that he had done a good job. It was indeed not easy. He was the only one who could do this, and only he could be so efficient. The 9-domain doppelganger entered the ceiling heaven hole. Night Sorrow's battle doppelganger went to a small courtyard in a remote area of the 9-domain city. At this moment, Yi Tianxin was standing in the courtyard, looking at the sky with his hands behind his back. No one knew what he was thinking. Night Sorrow noticed that Yi Tianxin's cultivation had improved a lot. He had reached the divine soul uniting realm. His cultivation speed was terrifying. Her Majesty is terrifying. This cultivation speed. Night Sorrow looked at Yi Tianxin and muttered. I am different from the demon ancestor and the others. They are outsiders in the celestial realm, but I am from the celestial realm. Back then, I killed several people in the demon imperial city and the outer realm many times. Therefore, I have accumulated a lot of resources. In addition, the Shura race disappeared in the long river of history. However, I can find their old site. The treasury is still there. Therefore, after awakening, I have the original memory and will not lack resources for my cultivation, Yi Tianxin said. After a moment of surprise, Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't expect this. Yi Tianxin had a lot of backup plans. While drinking tea and chatting, Night Sorrow asked a question. How much stronger would a battle at the divine soul uniting realm be compared to the tribulation of 9 emperors? This was also a question that he had been thinking about recently. His original body and avatar were very strong. It wasn't difficult for them to kill divine soul uniting realm experts. If the divine soul uniting realm was only slightly stronger than the tribulation of 9 emperors, Night Sorrow wouldn't choose to reach the divine soul uniting realm before the god-destroying tribulation of this era. After all, an era had a lifespan of 100 billion years. He was only a little more than 1,000 years old. Entering the divine soul uniting realm requires the avatar to melt and consume half of the battle strength. However, the increase in strength isn't doubled. It's close to 1/3. However, increasing strength by 1/3 is much stronger than fighting with the original body and avatar, Yi Tianxin said. 1/3 is still significant. Some situations that the original body and avatar can't face together can be faced at the divine soul uniting realm, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Yes. Increasing the battle strength by 1/3 on the original foundation can easily defeat cultivators of the same level. As for being besieged, it's not a problem. If the strength increases by 1/3, the speed will naturally increase as well. With higher speed and greater attack strength, the besieged cultivators can be instantly killed, Night Sorrow analyzed and said. First strike H. According to Yi Tianxin's logic, Night Sorrow came to a conclusion. If a cultivator who hadn't broken through the tribulation of 9 emperors and his avatar fought against a divine soul uniting realm expert who had broken through, they wouldn't be able to withstand a head-on confrontation. If their speed wasn't fast enough, besieging wouldn't be effective. That's right. This is a change from quantity to quality. It's very necessary because the increase in quality is the key to transcending the divine soul uniting tribulation. Yi Tianxin nodded to Night Sorrow. After chatting with Yi Tianxin for a while, Night Sorrow felt that it was better to let nature take its course. He didn't need to worry about it. Besides, his 2 avatars were different from the divine soul uniting realm experts who cultivated with just 1 avatar. The increase in battle strength should exceed the 1/3 limit. Actually, Unite Moon people are very similar to the Azura race, Yi Tianxin said with a sigh. Why do they look so similar? Yi Shan was surprised. Looking at Night Sorrow, Yi Tianxin didn't move. However, a beam of energy flew out from the back of his neck and slashed towards the void. Soon after, a spatial crack appeared. Spatial crack. Yi Tianxin used a spatial crack. Night Moon people are descendants of the Azura race. Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with shock. He clearly saw that it was a spatial crack. It's similar, but it's unlikely. I've done my research. Unite Moon people originated from the Heaven Mystic world in the world of reincarnation. The history of the Heaven Mystic world is too short. It's impossible for it to cross paths with the Azura race. However, their talents are very similar, Yi Tianxin said. Night Sorrow exhaled. He didn't know what he was feeling. Why are you so nervous? Do you hope that it's a descendant of the Azura race or not? Yi Tianqin asked. I don't know. I just feel that this matter is very serious, so I'm a little nervous, Night Sorrow said. After chatting with Yi Tianqin for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. Yi Zi was already an adult. After all, Night Sorrow had left for 30 years. Grandpa is back, Yi Zi shouted when he saw Night Sorrow return. You've grown up. However, there are still traces of your childhood, Night Sorrow said as he patted Yi Zi's shoulder. Grandpa has been busy all these years. You didn't bring Yi Zi along. Yi Zi can also serve you tea, Yi Zi said. You're a man. How can you think about serving tea all day long? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow's return filled the city in the sky with joy. Sister Xian Er, heavenly concubine, hasn't returned all these years. After sitting down, Night Sorrow asked Lin Piaomiao. Occasionally, but most of the time, she's not around. She should be at the spatial tunnel entrance, Lin Piaomiao said. Seems like the ancient world group isn't stable enough. If it's stable, she should be back by now, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Where there are people, there will be war. This is normal. The elders have done what you asked Elder Xia and Master Lin Quebec. They're collecting teleportation crystals now, Lin Piaomiao said. They're quite smart, Night Sorrow smiled. 13, this is where you're wrong. The Elder's Grand Elder is in our house. What do you think? Aoi looked at Lin Piaomiao and smiled. Chapter 23:33. What are you looking at? I'm a fair person. I won't make any special decisions because of our family, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. In the future, when things are over, we'll give this job to someone else, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Okay. Actually, there's nothing much to do now. The law enforcement elders will handle some things. When there's a war, they'll coordinate. Lin Piaomiao nodded. When everyone was eating dinner together, Night Sorrow picked up his chopsticks and put them down. Where's Lingxi? He's been outside all these years. According to what you said, he didn't go to the celestial realm. He's been moving around the 9-domain world and the chaos domain world. He has his own friends and companions now, Shueshi said. As long as he's happy. I also hope to see him change like this. Yishang nodded his head in satisfaction. Of the 6 children, he was most worried about Yi Lingxi because she was a little antisocial and even unsociable. Father, Lingxi has changed a lot. He's not as quiet as before. He's very cheerful now, Yi Qingyan said. He's very similar to your father before I found your grandparents. Perhaps it's because I was in a deep sleep when he was born. He's under a lot of pressure. As his elder sister, you should take care of him and the other brothers and sisters, Night Sorrow said. Father, don't worry. Qingyan will. Yi Qingyan nodded. Father, don't worry. Elder sister takes good care of us. Isn't this robe handsome? Elder sister made it herself. Yi Shaokei stood up and showed Night Sorrow his battle robe. Very good, very good. Seems like I really don't need to worry. Night Sorrow smiled. Actually, what made Night Sorrow the happiest wasn't this. It was that Father Gu, who was sitting at the side, had entered the king's realm. Although he had just entered, his lifespan was no longer a problem. Father Gu had always been the person Night Sorrow was most worried about. Because of his bloodline, his family members all had very high cultivation aptitudes. Only Father Gu was slightly lacking. Therefore, Night Sorrow had often provided Father Gu with some rare resources over the years. Now, it was finally taking effect. Night Sorrow, there's one more thing I'd like to tell you. I've handed the Misty Dynasty over to Ning and Wufeng. Initially, I wanted to step down from my position as the emperor, but Ning and Wufeng refused. But now that Ning is the vice-emperor, she's in charge of everything, Lin Piamyo said. That's good. Our family doesn't need to expand our influence. We should let go of some things if we can. Night Sorrow nodded. He agreed with this. After dinner, Night Sorrow accompanied his parents for a walk in the city in the sky and explained why he often left. After all, he hadn't been able to fulfill his filial duties. You don't have to think too much. Your father and I understand. You've been very tired these years. Sometimes, we really don't want you to go out. But your father said that you're the human emperor of the 100 races in the celestial realm. There are some things that you have to take on, Yu Qing said. Some things are almost done. Once they're done, I'll plant vegetables with my mother, be a gardener with my father and Father Gu, and sweep the streets of the city in the sky, Night Sorrow said with a smile. In the following days, Night Sorrow was free. His original body came out of seclusion and swapped places with his doppelganger. His realm had reached the limit before he entered the soul-uniting realm. The two doppelganger would be enough to study combat skills. 13. Let's go to the Medicine Valley and stay for a few days, Aoi said when they were drinking tea together one day. Sure, let's go to the bamboo forest peak. That's also one of my bases, Night Sorrow said with a smile. After saying goodbye to his parents and children, Night Sorrow left with his wives and sneaked back to the bamboo forest peak. Night Sorrow knew that Aoi and Yang Lei missed their master and senior brothers. He wanted to relax his state of mind. He had been cultivating too quickly in the past few years. Now, he needed to relax his state of mind. Of course, if he didn't enter the soul-uniting realm, he wouldn't be able to cultivate. When Night Sorrow and his wives arrived at the bamboo forest peak, they sent away the servants because they could handle things by themselves. In addition, Yu Yangyu, Gong Xian, and some others had also detected the arrival of Night Sorrow and the others. They couldn't sense Night Sorrow's aura, but they could sense Yang Lei and the others. They knew that Night Sorrow had returned. Perhaps he wanted some peace and quiet, so they didn't disturb him. After returning to the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow pursued the feeling of returning to his roots just like he did in the past in order to enter the Saint King realm. Every day, he would chop firewood, chop some bamboo, repair the house, and so on. When he was bored, he would go back to find Shi Tianlin, Mo Chen, and Guan Yi for a drink. Mo Chen and Guan Yi's clones followed the god-slaying team and patrolled the 9 regions world. Their true bodies were in the Medicine Valley. Guan Yi was also married. He got married during the 700 years that Night Sorrow was asleep. Like Mo Chen, he also had children. W% forever free of charge to read novels. In addition, Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning often came to Night Sorrow's place to drink. When they came to the bamboo forest peak, the 3 of them were very casual. Night Sorrow was their martial uncle, but he was also their captain. Even if they didn't talk about seniority, they and Night Sorrow were brothers who had gone through life and death together. On Night Sorrow's day, he went to the Medicine Valley's Standing Peak. That was the place that left the deepest impression on him. It was also the most important part of his journey on the path of his rise. But this time, he saw a farce. It was caused by Xiang Ding. After returning to the Medicine Valley, Xiang Ding took a large cloth and was about to wipe the Night Sorrow statue in the air above Danding Cliff. This made Elder Su, who was guarding Danding Cliff, very unhappy. "You bastard, get down here." Elder Su, who was standing below Danding Cliff, pointed at Xiang Ding and scolded him. Although Xiang Ding was an emperor, he was still a junior in front of Elder Su. Cultivation sects were particular about seniority. If an elder scolded him, he had to listen. "Elder Su, let me wipe the dust off," Xiangding replied with a bucket in one hand and a cloth in the other. "You bastard who can't tell things apart. That's a golden body. It's not stained with dust at all. Why are you wiping it?" Elder Su flew up and pulled Xiangding down. In the Medicine Valley, Xiangding was very famous. He was even more famous than the founder of the Medicine Valley, Xiang Tianding, who had a similar name. Moreover, everyone knew that Xiangding couldn't tell things apart. When he entered the sect, he ran in the wrong direction because he couldn't tell things apart. He even made a fool of himself. Not stained with dust. I really don't know about this. Xiangding was a little embarrassed. You don't know anything and you dare to act recklessly. Elder Su was furious because Xiangding was too reckless. Don't talk to Elder Su. Our captain is over there. Xiangding flew to Night Sorrow's side. Elder Su followed him. Night Sorrow was the supreme patriarch of the Medicine Valley. His status was much higher than Xiangding's. Elder Su had to greet him. Chapter 23:34. I wouldn't dare. I just thought that the leader's golden body needs attention, so I came to take a look. Xiangding said awkwardly. Cultivate well. Don't wander around every day. Night Sorrow waved his hand and let Xiangding leave. If he didn't say anything, Xiangding wouldn't dare to leave. That bastard. Other than the Grand Elder, there aren't many people who can control him. Last time, when Vice Valley Master Chu scolded him, he covered his ears and ran away. Elder Su said with a smile. It's not that he doesn't respect the elders. It's just that he has always been like this. I'll talk about it later. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Xiangding was from the Taishan Peak, so he really had to control him. No one minds. When the elders scold him, even if they scold him, he won't be unhappy or talk back. It's just that he's a troublemaker. Elder Su said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew about Xiangding's temperament. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and Elder Su went to Caogu town outside the mountain gate and found a tavern to drink. Night Sorrow had a lot of experience in Caogu town. Back then, he had a conflict with Qin Hai and Qin Zhan here. Lin Jingyi also kicked him here. Seeing that Night Sorrow's mind was wandering, Elder Su asked. Because at Night Sorrow's realm, it wasn't right for him to be absent-minded. Night Sorrow took it as a joke and told him some things back then. It's been more than 1,000 years. There are many things and people that no one remembers. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 years have passed. Elder Su sighed. His cultivation wasn't high enough, so he didn't have much lifespan left. This was something that couldn't be helped. The heavens were fair. If you had achievements, you would have a long lifespan. If you had low achievements, you would be annihilated by the river of time. Yes, 1,000 years have passed in the blink of an eye. However, I slept for 700 years of my lifespan. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Elder Su nodded. The 700 years of Night Sorrow's slumber was a dark era for the nine-domain world. Although everything was developing, the nine-domain world had lost its backbone during that time. After drinking a jar of wine with Elder Su, Night Sorrow returned to the bamboo forest peak. Not long after Night Sorrow left, Lin Jingyi appeared in the tavern. She knew that Night Sorrow had come, but she didn't come to meet him because Night Sorrow didn't plan to see her. Because of the Lin family, there was no friendship between the two of them. Jingyi, you're here. Elder Su, who was still drinking, greeted her. Is Elder Su here? Lin Jingyi stopped the waiter from greeting her and sat across from Elder Su. I just came to drink a glass of wine. You're here too. Let bygones be bygones. If the Lin family can't be brought up, then don't force it. Let go of what needs to be let go. Elder Su tried to persuade Lin Jingyi, who had a worried expression on her face. Jingyi understands. Elder Su, did you know that my fate changed because of this little tavern? 1,000 years have passed and everything has changed. The waiter of this tavern has changed again and again, but the owner has only changed once. Lin Jingyi said. Elder Su sighed. He understood that Lin Jingyi was the owner of this tavern. The waiter's greeting just now explained everything. Shaking his head helplessly, Elder Su left. He knew that some things were already set in stone. Night Sorrow returned to the bamboo forest peak. Xiangding was at bamboo forest peak. He had been chatting with Yi Shang's wives, but when he saw Yi Shang return, he immediately stood up straight. Captain, I was wrong. Night Sorrow sat down. You were wrong. What did you do wrong? Well, I shouldn't have used the cloth to wipe Captain's face. Xiangding stuttered. That's not it. You did it out of kindness. But remember, listen to the scoldings of the sect elders. Don't run away. Don't make it seem like the disciples of Taishan Peak don't know any better. Night Sorrow said. I know. I won't provoke them in the future. Xiangding nodded. It's not, don't provoke them. It's don't provoke them. Listen to whatever the sect elders say. Yang Lei glared at Xiangding. Xiangding shrunk his neck, then bowed to the few of them and left. This guy isn't young anymore, but his nature hasn't changed. He's still the same as before. Yang Lei said with a smile. Xiangding's incident was just an interlude. Night Sorrow lived in the bamboo forest peak most of the time. Occasionally, he would go out to drink with his fellow disciples. In addition, Night Sorrow would solve the cultivation problems of his fellow disciples if he could. Night Sorrow didn't care about the formalities. He hoped that all of his fellow disciples would achieve something. 2 years. After staying in the bamboo forest peak for 2 years, Night Sorrow decided to leave. Now, his state of mind and cultivation were very stable. He didn't need to continue settling down. He should go and take a look at the celestial realm. He couldn't just wash his hands and ignore it. As for when to break through to the divine soul uniting realm, Night Sorrow hadn't thought about it yet. Lin Piaomiao and the others supported Night Sorrow's decision to leave. This was because everyone knew that it wasn't easy for Night Sorrow to accompany everyone for 2 years. The matters of the celestial realm indeed had to be dealt with. After saying goodbye to his master, Gong Xian, and the others, Night Sorrow sent his wives back to Sky City. He came to the celestial realm and arrived at the spatial tunnel of the ancient world group. You're here. King Wu was very happy to see Night Sorrow. I'm here. How have you been? Night Sorrow nodded to King Wu, heavenly concubine, and sect elder Duan and sat down. If you didn't come, Martial Uncle would have told you to come. The situation is a bit bad. You see, Martial Uncle was just stabbed. Fortunately, it's not serious. King Wu pointed at his shoulder. There was a bloodstain there. Yes, we can't hold on any longer. Heavenly Concubine nodded. Then King Wu told Night Sorrow that ancient cultivators had appeared in the past few decades. However, they didn't have any battle plans. They were all fighting for themselves. He and Heavenly Concubine could go in and kill them. The other party could also rush in and kill them. However, the problem now was that another guy with strong combat power had appeared. King Wu and Heavenly Concubine were both beaten back. What's his cultivation level? Night Sorrow asked. Divine Soul Uniting Realm. However, his combat skills are heaven-defying. We ran away. He threatened us and told us to wait. If we were late, his big brother and the others would come and kill us. Heavenly Concubine said. You're saying that the person who beat you back isn't their leader? Night Sorrow stood up. This was a serious problem. Yes, we were discussing to let you come over. We can't handle this subordinate. If the leader comes, it will be very dangerous. King Yawu said. Chapter 23:35. Night Sorrow, we have to be careful. This bastard has gathered the scattered ancient cultivators. Although there aren't as many experts as the previous time, there are still a few Divine Soul Unity Realm experts. Heavenly Concubine said. I know. Heavenly Concubine, Martial Uncle, the two of you have to be careful. If you can't do it, just run. I will also kill if I can't kill. Night Sorrow said. All right. Let's see how strong your body, true chi, and soul spirit are at the tribulation of 9 emperors. Ordinary Divine Soul Unity Realm experts would be killed easily. You just have to be careful of the other party. Heavenly Concubine nodded to Night Sorrow. She and King Yawu were confident in Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow's previous battle record was there. He had killed many Divine Soul Unity Realm experts. Furthermore, Night Sorrow's cultivation back then was very different from now. King Yawu and Heavenly Concubine had cultivated all the way. They knew the difference between the tribulation of 8 emperors and tribulation of 9 emperors. They were experts. This time, Sect Elder Duan followed along. The Golden Dragon King was enough to oversee the array because Night Sorrow and the rest would return as soon as they said they would. After exiting the spatial passage, Night Sorrow and the rest flew towards the ancient cultivators' camp. Night Sorrow planned to use peaceful means before resorting to force. If they could come to an agreement and if the ancient cultivators were willing to retreat, then everything would be fine. If not, then Night Sorrow would not be polite. If there was a Bodhisattva lowering his eyebrows, then there would be a Vajra glaring at him. When Night Sorrow and the rest arrived, the people from the ancient cultivators' camp appeared. They were led by a young man. Another one has come. Why aren't you in a battle stance? The young man stroked the long sword in his hand and said. Don't be anxious. My name is Night Sorrow. I am here to talk to you. I hope you can retreat. Our world is not something you can step into. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow. That's a good name. I am Jing Tian Ho. The world on the other side is ours. You can't defend it. We won't attack for the time being. This Marquis is waiting for Big Brother's arrival. Big Brother has to take the first step when it comes to good things. The young man named Marquis Jingtian said while stroking his long sword. Sigh. Do you know how many God's Soul Unity Realm cultivators have fallen in order to enter our world in the ancient world group? 10. How much stronger are you compared to them? Fortune and misfortune depend on each other. The opportunity you see may be the road to your downfall, Night Sorrow said. Update, 8 new T is the fastest, shameless boasting. Fortune belongs to those who are virtuous. It's impossible for you all to monopolize it. Jing Tian Ho laughed out loud. Looks like there's no room for negotiation. Let's fight then. There is no door to fortune or misfortune, only man can summon it. That's right. Martial Uncle, let's go back. Night Sorrow said. Can you guys still go back? Jingtian Marquis waved his arm and a few Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators surrounded them. I've always wanted to be reasonable. Even if it's a war, I still think it's appropriate to use peaceful means before resorting to force. But you guys, let's fight then. The energy on Night Sorrow's body vibrated and his doppelganger appeared. His original body faced Jingtian Marquis while his doppelganger charged towards a divine soul unity realm cultivator. With the cultivation of the tribulation of 9 emperors, you want to fight with us with just a doppelganger? You're looking for. A subordinate of Jingtian Marquis brandished his blade and slashed towards Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. But before he could finish his words, something strange happened. His weapon was annihilated, his right arm was shattered and his body was sent flying. You're the one who's looking for death. I've killed many divine soul unity realm cultivators in the ancient world. Killing you won't make a difference. Knight Sorrow growled and used void steps to catch up with the divine soul unity realm cultivator who was sent flying. He then used soul extinguishing / and primal annihilation /. Since he had decided to kill, Knight Sorrow wouldn't be polite. Marquis, save me. The divine soul unity realm cultivator, who had suffered a loss in one move, cried out for help because he realized that he couldn't withstand Knight Sorrow's attacks. No one can save you. Knight Sorrow snorted. Under the suppression of the soul extinguishing /, he continued to attack with his spear. The 5th strike shattered the body of the divine soul unity realm cultivator. Following that, the great emperor-level fire of virtue started to burn the soul body of this ancient cultivator. As for Jingtian Marquis, he wanted to save someone but was stopped by Knight Sorrow's original body. His 2 attacks were defeated by Knight Sorrow's Samsara Heavenly Halberd. When Knight Sorrow's doppelganger attacked the other divine soul unity realm cultivators, his original body stopped Jingtian Marquis. He also realized that Jingtian Marquis wasn't simple. When Jingtian Marquis brandished his long sword, it carried an extreme yin and evil energy. His Merid Dao domain could barely suppress it. He also understood that this was the reason why King Yanwu and the heavenly concubine were forced to retreat. In addition, Jingtian Marquis' defense was also amazing. Knight Sorrow's Samsara Heavenly Halberd could only push him back but couldn't injure him. In just a moment, 2 of Jingtian Marquis' subordinates were killed by Knight Sorrow. The rest ran away. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger chased after one of them. Knight Sorrow's original body and Jingtian Marquis fought in midair. The void cracks extended in all directions. King Yanwu and the heavenly concubine could only watch. At this time, they realized that Jingtian Marquis had only displayed part of his combat strength when fighting with them. It was because they ran fast that Jingtian Marquis couldn't catch up with them. They wouldn't be able to last long in such an intense battle. After fighting for a while, Knight Sorrow and Jingtian Marquis exchanged a blow. Relying on the Thousand Realms defense, Knight Sorrow withstood the blow. The Samsara Heavenly Halberd hit Jingtian Marquis' protective energy and sent him flying. Good, just you wait. This isn't over yet. When I come back, you'll die. Jingtian Marquis roared and began to retreat. Knight Sorrow's attack had already injured him. He didn't want to fight anymore because there was no way he could win. Jingtian Marquis ran away. Knight Sorrow naturally chased after him. Their battle was moving quickly. Jingtian Marquis was constantly injured, but he could still hold on. Damn you, Heavenly Spirit Shield. After being pushed back by Knight Sorrow's halberd again, Jingtian Marquis roared when he saw Knight Sorrow's doppelganger coming back. A shield appeared on his body. The shield then shattered. The resulting energy wrapped around him and disappeared in a flash. You'd better not appear again. If you do, I'll definitely kill you. Knight Sorrow roared. This bastard's combat strength is too strong. What we saw last time wasn't his true strength. If it's this level of combat strength, we won't be able to hold on. King Yanwu said. It shouldn't be. If there's a chance to hurt you and the heavenly concubine, he has no reason not to. Knight Sorrow couldn't understand. He probably doesn't take us seriously. Didn't he say that he's waiting for his brother, Heavenly King John? Heavenly King Zhan's strength is at least on par with him. King Yanwu said. Chapter 23:36. All of you, scram. If you come to this area again, none of you will live. Night Sorrow shouted at the escaping ancient cultivators. At this moment, the ancient cultivators were scared out of their wits. The Divine Soul Unity Realm was the strongest cultivator below the God-destroying tribulation, but Yi Shang had killed several of them. In their eyes, even the invincible heaven-shocking Marquis had almost been killed. In the end, he had fled in a sorry state. They were even worse off. Less than 2 hours had passed since the end of the battle. Let's go back. Night Sorrow nodded at King Yawu, the heavenly concubine, and the Grand Elder. The four of them passed through the spatial tunnel and returned to the celestial realm. They went to the living area in the center of the array. What do you think of it? Hurry up and get on the ZS. The heavenly concubine took the teapot and brewed tea. We fought hard for dozens of years. The ancient cultivators never retreated. You came and killed them all. Yeah. If I knew this would happen, I would have let you come. Now that you are here, we don't have to suffer so much. King Yawu said. King Yawu, protector heavenly concubine, we were the ones who let Night Sorrow return. Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Ha! That's true. Let's drink some tea. King Yawu said with a laugh. If we kill a few more times, most of the ancient cultivators will be killed. Also, news of Night Sorrow's power will probably spread. I don't think anyone will attack us anymore. The heavenly concubine thought for a moment and said. If we kill like this, it will be hard for our name not to spread. However, I don't know what that heavenly King Zhan is. If Jingtian Marquis is so strong, he naturally won't be weak. He might even be stronger. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and said. King Yawu, the heavenly concubine, and Sect Elder Duan all knew that Night Sorrow's power far exceeded theirs. It could be seen from how Jingtian Marquis could kill them and how Night Sorrow could force Jingtian Marquis to use a secret treasure to escape. In addition, it was too easy for Night Sorrow to kill Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators. It was a complete suppression. It was like an adult beating up a child. There was no comparison. Don't worry, he couldn't have survived the God-destroying tribulation, right? Night Sorrow smiled. If we can survive the God-destroying tribulation, then what's the point of fighting? There's no point in holding on, Elder Duan said. Under the God-destroying divine tribulation, cultivators could be respected, saints, monarchs, and emperors, but they were still cultivators after all. However, cultivators of the divine emperor realm were gods. It was completely different. Not necessarily. Heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said. Ha! Not necessarily. King Yawu laughed and repeated the heavenly concubine's words. They had confidence in Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was already much stronger than the Divine Soul Unity Realm. Most importantly, Night Sorrow had yet to break through to the Divine Soul Unity Realm. Night Sorrow, your 1,000 worlds defense has already reached 13 worlds. If you continue, your defense will become stronger and stronger. Even if someone's cultivation is stronger than you, they might not be able to break through your defense. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said. My current research direction is to strengthen the defense of the 13 worlds. I'm not purposely developing it. Night Sorrow said to Heavenly Concubine. After Jing Tianho was killed and fled, the group relaxed. They drank and chatted when they wanted to. Elder Duan lamented in his heart. He, King Yawu, and Heavenly Concubine had been fighting here for dozens of years, but they couldn't do anything to the ancient cultivators. However, Night Sorrow came and solved the problem with just one attack. The difference was too big. He still remembered the first time he met Night Sorrow 1,000 years ago. How's the development of our 9 regions world now? Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and asked. She was very proud of the 9 regions world because the 9 regions world was strong enough. There was only development and no turbulence. Everything is very stable. The Council of Elders and the Commander-in-Chief's residence are managing the 9 regions world well. In addition, while you were fighting here, I didn't stay idle. I explored all the worlds around the 9 regions world. Some dangers that might appear are within our defenses, Night Sorrow said. You've only been gone for 30 years, right? King Yo-Wu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Everyone knew that the celestial realm was vast and boundless. The 9 regions world wasn't as big as the celestial realm, but it was still very big. If they wanted to investigate the surrounding worlds, let alone 30 years, they might not be able to do so in 300 years. Disciples' flying speed in the 9 regions world is very fast. In addition, there are 2 clones working together, so the efficiency is higher. Night Sorrow smiled as he took out the original version of the territory map that Tai Shu Yen had returned to him and placed it on the table. King Yo-Wu, Sect Elder Duan, and Heavenly Concubine were very shocked after looking at the territory map. The preparation work was very detailed. How many worlds are there in this densely packed place? In addition, the nearby worlds that are in good condition can be used as bases for development, King Yo-Wu said. This? Disciple dug out these worlds for defense, not for invasion. If there are really forces that attack and cause misery and suffering, it won't be good. After hearing King Yo-Wu's words, Night Sorrow thought of some problems that he hadn't thought of before. If he took out the territory map and copied it, then some people would come into contact with it. If there were people who wanted to develop and wantonly destroy some new spatial worlds for resources, it would be a sin. That's true. You have to master this territory map well. Otherwise, it will be a problem. King Yo-Wu nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't invade. I'll take care of it. Night Sorrow nodded. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he could only start with the territory map. As for restrictions, he felt that it wasn't easy to say. You could restrict others from seeking opportunities and resources in the 9 regions world, but you couldn't restrict others from seeking opportunities in other worlds. The exposure of some new worlds was very likely due to the territory map. Night Sorrow had to bear the consequences of this cause and effect. Night Sorrow's main body stayed at the entrance of the ancient world while the 9 regions clone went to the Commander-in-Chief's residence to convene a meeting. The sect elders people in the 9 regions world and the Commander-in-Chief's residence gathered together. Realm Lord, do you have any orders? Tai Shu Yen asked. How many copies of the territory map have been copied? Night Sorrow asked. Currently, there are 4 copies. I have 1, Elder Huangling, Master Wu Kei, and Night Emperor each have 1, Tai Shu Yen said. It's better not to spread this territory map. I don't want it to become a medium for some people to invade and occupy other worlds. If our 9 regions world doesn't want to be invaded, then the same goes for other worlds. Night Sorrow stated the purpose of this meeting. Yes, we don't want to be invaded. Naturally, we can't become invaders. This matter must be restricted. Wu Lingfei nodded. Restricted. This may make others think that we're meddling too much. No matter what, we can't use this territory map. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2337. Mother, aren't we invaders if we take the initiative to enter? Wu Lingfei asked. You can say that, but you have to know that the weak are prey to the strong. This is the rule of the heavenly Tao. The people of the 9-domain world are capable of defending the 9-domain world. If other worlds can't defend themselves, they will naturally be ruled and developed. As for whether the world can remain stable, that depends on the ruler. Huang Ling said after thinking for a moment. Mother, you can't support the invasion, Wu Lingfei said as she looked at Huang Ling. Baby girl, I don't support the invasion. I also dislike it. After all, the 100 races of the celestial realm have fought the invaders, the demon wing race, for countless cycles. What I said just now was just a fact, Huang Ling said. I understand what you mean. I don't care if they invade or not, but this matter can't be caused by me. I don't want it to be caused by the territory map, Night Sorrow said. Human Emperor has actually neglected one point. The celestial realm is tolerant and includes many races. Why can't it accommodate the demon wing race? Because they are too aggressive. It's their own fault. If they came in with the idea of peaceful coexistence and common development, would there still be a situation where they fight to the death? I don't think so, Huang Ling said. Night Sorrow patted his forehead. The situation was a little complicated, and it made him feel a little tired. Everyone present fell silent. They knew that Night Sorrow cultivated morality and would not do immoral things. He even said that he did not want to see them, but some things were bound to happen in development. Actually, it's not that complicated. The 9-domain world has order because of the human emperor. Some problems in development can be dealt with by the Commander-in-Chief's office. Even if it borders the world and interacts with development, it's fine as long as it's within the Commander-in-Chief's office's control. If someone's behavior is bad, then forcibly suppress them. Those who are not virtuous will naturally be eliminated. Those who are eliminated naturally have their reasons for being eliminated. It's useless to blame others, Huang Ling said. That makes sense. Sir Spirit Sovereign is truly farsighted. The Commander-in-Chief's manor and the Council of Elders should come up with some rules. Things we are unwilling to accept, we shouldn't force them on others. Night Sorrow pondered for a moment before making his decision. He decided to let the Commander-in-Chief's manor and the Council of Elders make the arrangements. After that, Night Sorrow's 9 zones doppelgangers entered the Heaven Sealing Hall to continue cultivating. His main body also told Heavenly Concubine, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder about the results of the meeting. Emperor Ling is right. Actually, some things are inevitable. It all depends on how things develop and are controlled. Elder Duan nodded. Rubbing his forehead, Night Sorrow felt that it was better to let nature take its course. He would manage as much as he could. Night Sorrow's main body didn't need to consider the advancement of his realm. Thus, Night Sorrow stayed at the entrance of the spatial tunnel. The days became peaceful. The ancient cultivators were no longer seen, no more attacks were organized, and Marquis Jingtian did not come again. On this day, after returning from his patrol, Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine. As he drank, he pondered. The war was still going to come. It was just that he didn't know when it would happen. Night Sorrow, why didn't you consider entering the soul fusion stage? Heavenly Concubine stood beside Night Sorrow. I'm not in a hurry for now, right? Both my doppelgangers are researching combat techniques. If I enter the soul fusion stage, wouldn't I lose this advantage? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. That's your idea. It does make sense. Heavenly Concubine was stunned for a moment. She had never considered this point. Ordinary cultivators would take countless years to reach the 9 Emperor Tribulation. It could even be said that most of them had lived for 9 epochs. After such a long time, they would have cultivated more or less all the absolute arts. They would have researched what they could and would be at their limits. However, Night Sorrow was different. He had too much research to do. His cultivation time was short and he still had a lot of potential. Now that he was entering the soul fusion stage, it would slow down his comprehension of absolute arts. Night Sorrow, your idea is right. Your current strength is enough. If it's not enough, you can try to break through to the soul fusion stage. In the state of time acceleration, it won't take more than a few years. There's still time. King Yewu and sect elder Duan came to Night Sorrow's side. Martial uncle also feels that there's no problem. Then I'll cultivate like this for the time being. Night Sorrow nodded. He also felt that his idea was right. If his main body didn't cultivate, Night Sorrow would stay at the ancient world's spatial passageway. Sometimes, he would go to the heavenly desolate city to chat with Tran Hung. Sometimes, he would go to the Devil Imperial City to take a look. Everything was developing steadily. In the current situation, the Celestial Realm didn't have the initiative and couldn't fight their way out. With two opponents, the ancient cultivators of the Ancient World Group couldn't fight and couldn't find the target. They could only defend. As for the Devil-Winged clan, they knew that there was a crisis. However, if the Devil-Winged clan and Demon Nine Clouds didn't show up, then some problems couldn't be solved. In addition, under the leadership of Lu Qi, the elders of the sect elders entered the Heavenly General's domain once and killed some of the spies of the Devil-Winged clan. Because Mo Yuqing had a backup plan, she ran away with the last few Devil-Winged clan, but she also became a frightened bird, collecting information in fear. However, it was already very difficult for her to collect information. Demon Nine Clouds asked her to collect information about Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow had little contact with people. There were few battles in the Celestial Realm now, and even if there were battles, she couldn't come into contact with them. VN First VR release, Mo Yuqing hoped for the return of the Devil Ancestor. She firmly believed that after the Devil Ancestor woke up, he would be the return of the king and would sweep the world. Although Night Sorrow was the Merit Great Emperor and was very powerful, the Devil Ancestor would be a half-step Divine Emperor when he woke up. His battle strength was unparalleled. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. In these 2 years, Night Sorrow had completely settled down. His sharp aura was gone. Walking on the street, he gave people the feeling that he was an ordinary young man. He was clean, and his smile was infinitely infectious. The chaotic world only gave Night Sorrow 2 years, and Jing Tianho appeared. Not only did he appear, but he also brought a large group of ancient cultivators. There were 11 Divine Soul Unity Realm experts, and the leader was not him, but a man wearing a golden battle suit. He was Jing Tianho's elder brother, Heavenly King Zhan. Heavenly King Zhan was very calm. When he arrived at the spatial passage of the Ancient World Group, he ordered the troops to be stationed. After listening to Jing Tianho's report, he knew that the strength of the Celestial Realm was not simple. He was very clear about Jing Tianho's battle strength. Jing Tianho used a life-saving secret treasure to escape, which explained the problem. With the ancient cultivators attacking, Night Sorrow was a lot more relaxed. He knew that things were coming, but he didn't know when it would come. There was an invisible pressure. The crisis hidden in the dark was terrible. When the crisis surfaced, it was a difficulty, not a crisis. Chapter 2338. Big Brother, it's him. Jing Tian Marquis looked at Night Sorrow with eyes that were about to spit fire. In the past, he had never failed before, let alone being forced to use a secret treasure to escape. This was the greatest humiliation to him. Furthermore, his heart ached for his secret treasure, the Heavenly Spirit Shield. The Heavenly Spirit Shield had allowed him to escape unscathed once, but now, it was broken and destroyed. You're the Night Sorrow who injured my little brother. Heavenly King Zhan, who was wearing a golden robe and a heavenly crown, looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of killing intent. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. Heavenly King Zhan had come to denounce him. This meant that things were not going to end well. However, he still had to say what needed to be said. Letting out a breath, Night Sorrow smiled, you know the reason. The world behind me does not allow anyone to attack. I hope you can retreat. This is good for you, me, and everyone else. Haha. It's good for you, but what good does it do for us? Heavenly King Jean laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with disdain. Before all of you, there were many cultivators who came here. They were all filled with confidence. The ancient cultivators from Fire King City, Profound Ice Ancient World, and Dark Realm Ancient Castle all wanted to enter. However, none of their Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators survived. The lesson is right in front of you, yet you still want to attack. What's the point? I'm really not trying to scare you. Whoever wants to invade the world behind me will die. Night Sorrow looked at Heavenly King Jean and explained some facts. You might have some strength, but you can't stop my attack. Since you're here, my Heavenly King Jean city will enter the new world. Heavenly King Jean looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow understood that a high-level cultivator's willpower was firm and would not be easily shaken. He came here to look for a sliver of opportunity. However, it was clear that there was no such opportunity now. W square root and newbie fastest TYK7Q Night Sorrow smiled and cupped his fists at Heavenly King Jean before retreating. Heavenly King Jean and Jingtian Marquis made different choices. He did not make a move. Instead, he watched as Night Sorrow left. Jingtian Marquis pulled out his sword and was about to give chase but was stopped by Heavenly King Jean. Big brother, why didn't you kill him? Jingtian Marquis was puzzled. Don't be rash. The spatial passageway is here. Can they escape? You won't be able to escape. Also, he isn't trying to scare you. The disappearance of the top cultivators from Fire King City, Ancient Profound Ice World, and Dark Domain Castle is not a lie. Heavenly King Jean shook his head. Jingtian Marquis didn't say anything, but he was unconvinced in his heart. He didn't believe that he and his elder brother wouldn't be able to break into the celestial realm with a few Divine Soul Unity Realm subordinates. Night Sorrow retreated. King Yawu, Heavenly Concubine, and Elder Duan also retreated. They wanted to hear Night Sorrow's analysis. Furthermore, they couldn't afford to fight either Heavenly King Jean or Heavenly Marquis. Returning to the core area of the Peerless Great Array, Night Sorrow's expression was very serious. One Heavenly Marquis is already hard to deal with. Now, there's this Heavenly King Jean. How are we going to solve this problem? Elder Duan reached out and knocked on the table. I don't know how strong that Heavenly King Jean is, but it doesn't matter. I believe that my main body can handle it. If I can't, then my avatar won't attack anyone else. We will just fight Heavenly King Jean together. If other ancient cultivators dare to rush in and enter the array, then we can rely on the array to defend. This is our home ground. Night Sorrow said after pondering for a moment. If the crisis is only here, then it doesn't matter. However, that demon Nine Clouds has been back for 30 years. In the 30 years of time acceleration, she has cultivated for thousands of years. We can't estimate how much she has recovered. If they attack at this stage, then we will be attacked from both sides. King Yawu said what he was worried about. What King Yawu was worried about was also what everyone was worried about. The number of top experts in the celestial realm was limited. If they were attacked from both sides, then the problem would be serious. The two defense lines of the celestial realm could be easily broken. It could even be said that the defense line facing the Demon Wing clan could be broken at any time. If there were spies of the Demon Wing clan in the celestial realm, then there must be a secret way to come and go. Right now, we can only seize the time and see how to deal with them. Night Sorrow nodded. After drinking a pot of tea and tightening the Samsara halberd on his back, Night Sorrow told King Yawu and the others to pay attention to the defense inside the array. He planned to go out and take a look. You really don't need us to follow. If we rely on speed and don't fight recklessly, we can still fight. Heavenly Concubine said. No need. I have the Thousand Realms defense body and the Void Step. I don't need to worry about being surrounded. If I can kill, then I will. If I can't, then I will retreat. The main thing is to test Heavenly King Jean's strength. If the water is too deep, then I can only use the soul fusion technique, Night Sorrow said. This time, Night Sorrow wanted to test the water and compare their strength. Heavenly King Jean's soul light is flawless. He is not in the soul fusion realm. He has already surpassed this limit. To be precise, he is in the half-step Divine Emperor realm, King Yowu said in a low voice. He had already found out, but he didn't say it because he didn't want to pressure everyone. I see. Let's give it a try. Night Sorrow smiled. No matter what Heavenly King Jean's realm was, he had to test his strength. Night Sorrow appeared again. Heavenly King Jean left the encampment with his battle blade on his back. He faced Night Sorrow from afar and slowly drew his battle blade. Is it a battle between you and me or a battle without rules? You choose. Yi Shan spat out 2 words. If it was a one-on-one battle, it would be a battle between Night Sorrow and Heavenly King Jean. If it was a battle without rules, then Night Sorrow could go and kill others. Heavenly King Jean and Marquis Jingtian could surround and kill Night Sorrow to prevent him from going back. Very generous. The battle will be decided by the battle between the peak cultivators. You came out to test your strength. Then it will be a battle between us. It has nothing to do with the others, Heavenly King Jean said. All right. Night Sorrow raised his right hand and held the Samsara halberd in his hand. Actually, there was no difference between a one-on-one battle and a group battle. A siege was no threat to him. Heavenly Concubine, and Clan Elder Duan, who had followed to the entrance of the space tunnel, heard that it was a one-on-one battle and heaved a sigh of relief. Under such circumstances, they didn't have to worry about Night Sorrow being surrounded. When Night Sorrow said yes, Heavenly King Jean attacked with his battle blade. A blade light cut through the void and slashed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body changed between real and virtual. He left his original position and rushed towards Heavenly King Jean. His body had cultivated to the tribulation of 9 emperors. It was strong and powerful. It was suitable for close combat. He naturally wanted to get close to the battle and use his advantage. After his attack missed, Heavenly King Jean waved his battle blade continuously. Blade aura slashed towards Night Sorrow. Chapter 23:39. Fight to the death. Then let's do it the hard way. Heavenly King Jean snorted coldly. His battle sword slashed toward Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd. With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow and Heavenly King Jean flew backward in different directions. Heavenly King Jean's face was full of shock. A strong force hit him, causing him to fly backward uncontrollably. His blood and chi were somewhat unstable. Night Sorrow fared better. The rebound force was strong, but the energy in his body was strong. After canceling it out, it did not affect him much. As for the sputtering energy damage, it was directly absorbed by his defensive Sumer world. Void Step. Night Sorrow used Void Step and approached Heavenly King Jean. He waved his Samsara halberd and attacked Heavenly King Jean again. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Heavenly King Jean roared. He waved his sword again. With an explosion, Night Sorrow and Heavenly King Jean fought in the air. The energy halo created by their fight rippled in all directions. The impact shattered the space, and many black holes appeared. Night Sorrow and Heavenly King Jean did not care about the effects of the space turbulence. They switched back and forth between the real world and the space turbulence. It was Night Sorrow's first time meeting an opponent who could fight him head-on. He had a big advantage in the fight, but he could not defeat Heavenly King Zhan. Heavenly King Zhan's protective energy was very strong. He used energy to increase his strength and body's defense. After fighting for a while, Heavenly King Zhan realized that this kind of fight was too passive. He decided to change his fighting style. After making the decision, Heavenly King Zhan's body flashed. He avoided Night Sorrow's Samsara Heavenly Concubine and avoided the impact of Night Sorrow's power. Then, he started to attack with his sword. Forbidden Beginning Dao Territory. Upon seeing Heavenly King Zhan switch tactics, Night Sorrow's protective Dao domain also switched. Earlier, he had used the taboo Samsara Dao domain, which was good at supporting attacks. Now, he used the taboo Primordial Dao domain. The Forbidden Beginning Dao territory was good at melting energy attacks. It would not be difficult to defend. So it's because you have two taboo attributes. However, you're still not strong enough. King Zhan's energy changed as well. It changed from the destruction attribute to the forbidden samsara attribute. He did not use his full strength earlier. Of course, Night Sorrow did not use his full strength either. He did not use his power of virtue. The battle changed from close combat to an exchange of energy, but it was still a tie. Night Sorrow's energy attack was not as strong as Heavenly King Zhan's, but his Thousand Realms whirling body was domineering. Coupled with the beginning Dao domain, Heavenly King Zhan's energy attack could not threaten him. However, his energy attack could not hurt Heavenly King Zhan either. Heavenly King Zhan's protective Dao domain was very strong. In addition, his saber aura could block Night Sorrow's spear light. Night Sorrow kept getting closer to Sky King Zhan. He had a huge advantage in close combat, so he naturally had to use it to his advantage. But King Zhan didn't give him the chance. He kept using energy attacks to suppress him, not giving him a chance to get close. The battle went on for an hour. Night Sorrow's body floated back. Let's just warm up today. We'll fight another day. Night Sorrow left. Heavenly King Zhan did not chase after him. He just watched Night Sorrow leave coldly. Seeing Night Sorrow leave, Jingtian Marquis said excitedly, "Big brother, why didn't you use your ultimate skill to kill him? You said last time that his original body would fight you, and his doppelgangers would kill others. Today, his doppelgangers did not appear. This means that he is still holding back. So, I naturally have to hold back. The outcome of a war cannot be decided in 1 or 2 battles. We are not in a hurry." Heavenly King Zhan squinted his eyes and looked at the spatial tunnel. It was too intense. Heavenly King Zhan is really strong, Sect Elder Duan said. He only used part of his combat power. His attacks were all normal attacks. He did not use his ultimate skill. If he had, would not have been able to withstand it, Night Sorrow said. // You also did not use your virtuous power or your doppelgangers. Sect Elder Duan was still very confident in Night Sorrow. I just wanted to test his strength. If I could not kill him, it would be pointless to expose all my trump cards. That would be a loss. Night Sorrow shook his head. He had his own thoughts. Hearing Night Sorrow's explanation, King Yawu, the Heavenly Concubine, and the Grand Elder all nodded. Night Sorrow was very thorough. If he could not achieve his goal, there was no need to use his full strength. This battle can delay their attacks. At least they will know that it is not that easy to take down the Celestial Realm, King Yawu said. Yes. This is also one of my goals. I want to give them some psychological pressure. Otherwise, if Heavenly King Zhan and Jingtian Marquis attack together, it will be very difficult for us to defend, Night Sorrow said. Half-Step Divine Emperor. The Ancient World Group is really strong, the Heavenly Concubine sighed. She was very confident in herself, but she knew there was a gap between her and Heavenly King Jean and Jingtian Marquis. She could rely on her speed to fight, but it was almost impossible for her to win. This is an arranged battle. Next time, it will be a war. Knight Sorrow spun the teacup in his hand. He was still thinking about how to stop Heavenly King Jean and the others' attacks. If we can solve it, we have to solve it quickly. Otherwise, when the demon wings attack, our defense will be a problem, King Yawu said. The celestial realm's current situation was not suitable for delay. Are you thinking about breaking through to the divine soul unification level? The heavenly concubine asked Knight Sorrow. Actually, that was what King Yawu and Sect Elder Duan also wanted to ask. Knight Sorrow still had room for improvement. They knew that Knight Sorrow had two doppelgangers. Once they merged, their power would increase greatly. I have to think about it. I have two doppelgangers. The 9-area doppelgangers are restricted by the rules and cannot leave the 9-area world. If I merge my divine soul unification level, then the rules will affect my real body. My real body will not be able to enter the celestial realm. The consequences will be. Knight Sorrow said. No, if you merge your divine soul unification level, then the doppelgangers will disappear. The rules of the doppelgangers will also disappear. It will not affect the real body. No matter what the heavenly Tao rules are, the priority is very clear, King Yawu said, dispelling some of Knight Sorrow's concerns. Hearing King Yawu's words, Yi Shang heaved a sigh of relief. There were some things he hadn't said to anyone else. Now that you are relieved, then go and attack. Even if the defense here is broken, you can still fight back, Sect Elder Duan said. Let me think about it. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He felt that he should talk to Yi Tianqin. If he wanted to win the upcoming battle, then he needed Yi Tianqin's help. Knight Sorrow's 9-area doppelgangers arrived at Yi Tianqin's residence. Sit. I went to Sky City for a walk and just came back. Yi Tianqin greeted Yi Shang. The situation in the celestial realm has changed. Knight Sorrow looked at Yi Tianqin and went straight to the point. Tell me about the change. Normally, you should be able to solve it. Yi Tianqin looked at Knight Sorrow. She knew Knight Sorrow's strength very well. Just now, my real body fought with an ancient cultivator of the half-step divine emperor realm, Knight Sorrow said. He didn't understand why Knight Sorrow wanted to fight now, but he didn't ask for the reason. Knight Sorrow was no longer a child. He must have his own thoughts before making a decision. Knight Sorrow's appearance in the ancient world stunned Heavenly King Jean. The battle had just ended. According to common sense, the second battle shouldn't have come so soon. I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to retreat or not? Knight Sorrow's body emitted killing intent. His aura were completely different from the last time he came out. I'll say it again. I, Heavenly King Jean, will definitely take the ancient world. Heavenly King Jean pulled out his battle blade. He was a little apprehensive because he actually had a trace of fear. As soon as Heavenly King Jean finished speaking, Knight Sorrow moved. His clone appeared. His main body and the clone rushed toward the ancient cultivators in the ancient world. Kill. The battle had officially begun. Heavenly King Jean and Jingtian Marquis attacked together. Their actions were different from King Yawu and the others who were watching. They didn't intercept or attack Knight Sorrow's clone. They didn't separate and ignored Knight Sorrow's clone. Instead, they attacked Knight Sorrow's main body together. Ruthless. They didn't care that their subordinates were being slaughtered by Knight Sorrow's clone. What they wanted was to kill Knight Sorrow's main body. Heavenly King Jean's battle blade was surrounded by silver light. He struck out, directly destroying the space. Shameless. King Yawu and Heavenly Concubine moved. This was Night Sorrow's crisis. Don't come over. If you want to fight, then fight to your heart's content. Light of merit. Night Sorrow roared. The precept domains of his main body and clone were filled with dazzling golden light. It was the power of merit. Night Sorrow's main body's precept domain had a golden scripture flowing. It was the light of the human Tao scripture. How shameless. Do you think there's no one in the celestial realm? Following a delicate roar, a sword light flashed. After cutting through the void, it directly slashed towards Heavenly King John. This sword light was very dazzling. It appeared out of nowhere, but it wasn't sudden. It didn't seem fast, but it instantly arrived in front of Heavenly King John. Heavenly King John waved his battle blade. The destructive blade collided with the sword light. What followed was a violent collision. The sword light was Yi Tianxin's heavenly sword art. It was the most complete version of the heavenly sword art. Night Sorrow, I thought the situation was good. I didn't expect you to suffer so much. I'm sorry. Yi Tianxin waved his sword. Sword light shot towards Heavenly King John. Your Majesty, you think too much. It's Night Sorrow's honor to fight with the predecessors. Today, I'll kill them to prevent future troubles. Night Sorrow's main body and his doppelganger rushed over. The precept domain of Taboo Primordial expanded violently at the same time, enveloping Heavenly King John in it. Then, the main body and doppelganger used soul destruction slash. Two deep purple crescent blades slashed towards Heavenly King John. Good. Those who offend the celestial realm must be killed. Yi Tianxin saw Night Sorrow's intention. He ignored Heavenly King Jingtian and attacked Heavenly King John with his sword Qi. King Yawu, Elder Duan, and the Heavenly Concubine were stunned. Yi Tianxin's sudden appearance stunned them. The main reason was that Yi Tianxin's combat power was too strong. His sword Qi suppressed Heavenly King John. Heavenly Sword Art. It's the predecessor of the 100 races of the celestial realm, the Shura Empress. King Yawu thought about it and came to a conclusion. Enough talking. Kill. The Heavenly Concubine flashed and joined the battle. Night Sorrow's main body, doppelganger, and Yi Tianxin attacked Heavenly King John. Night Sorrow used his Thousand Realms defense to block Heavenly King John's attack for Yi Tianxin. Heavenly King John's attack was very strong. However, after Night Sorrow's precept domain of Taboo Primordial and Sumra World's absorption, the impact on Night Sorrow's body could no longer hurt Night Sorrow. This was a true pinnacle battle. It was a battle that had never happened in the history of the celestial realm. This was because the level of the battle had surpassed the Soul Unity realm. Heavenly King John was injured. Night Sorrow's main body and doppelganger's attacks were too strong for him to handle. Night Sorrow's main body and doppelganger used different attributes. Their attack methods were also different. It was very difficult to defend against them. In addition, the soul extinguishing slash had a huge negative effect on him. He couldn't focus on the enemy. In other words, there was a gap in strength between him and Night Sorrow. He was no longer comparable to Night Sorrow. Not to mention, there was also Yi Tianxin, who had a tyrannical offensive power. XG Chapter Version T4 Foot D. Chapter 2341. Sword Qi and Spear Light entered Heavenly King John's body, causing his situation to take a turn for the worse. Whether it was his defensive or offensive power, both were greatly reduced. Jingtian, retreat. Heavenly King John shouted. It's too late to leave now. I've already advised you twice to leave. Is there something wrong with your brain? Night Sorrow scolded angrily. Face slapping, this was a true face slapping. I told you to leave, but you didn't. Now that you can't run anymore, there's no way out. Night Sorrow wouldn't give Heavenly King Jean the chance to escape and make a comeback. Under the suppression of the Dao domain, Night Sorrow's main body, Avatar, and Yi Tianxin attacked Heavenly King Jean from 3 different directions. Heavenly King Jean also wanted to retreat, but King Yawu, Heavenly Concubine, and Sect Elder Duan weren't willing to do so. The 3 of them didn't care about the other people running around and attacked Heavenly King Jean. As for the other Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators, the 3 of them didn't care. If they could dodge, they would dodge. If they couldn't, they would use their injuries to buy time. Seeing Heavenly Concubine being struck by a Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator's sword, Night Sorrow was furious. You guys aren't running. After I kill Heavenly King Jean and Heavenly King Jean, none of you can escape. After shouting, Night Sorrow released a soul extinguishing slash towards the Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator who injured Heavenly Concubine. Following that, his avatar flashed in the space-time realm and the Bloodlust Execution Spear appeared out of nowhere. It broke the Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator's saber and blasted a huge hole in his chest. Then, his avatar's fire of virtue enveloped the cultivator. Following that, 3 spears rapidly blasted the cultivator's body, shattering it. At this moment, Night Sorrow was attacking with his full strength. He did not hold back at all because this was the crucial moment of the battle. Actually, he shouldn't have come to kill this Soul Unity Realm Ancient Cultivator because an ordinary Soul Unity Realm Ancient Cultivator wouldn't be able to affect the outcome of the battle. One of the reasons why he attacked was to vent the anger of the Heavenly Concubine. Another reason was to intimidate others and make them scram. Heavenly King Jean's situation wasn't optimistic. When he saw Night Sorrow's avatar leave to kill others, he thought that he had a chance and charged towards the gap. However, just as he reached the gap, Night Sorrow's avatar in his Dao domain, wrapped in the flames of merit, returned. It blocked Heavenly King Jean's escape route and continued killing. Stop fighting, we surrender. Heavenly King Jean shouted. Admitting defeat now. What were you thinking earlier? You still dare to say that you want the world on the other side. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it, so I'll crush it for you. Night Sorrow's attacks were getting more and more violent. When Heavenly King Jean's attacks arrived, he pulled the soul wrapped in the flames of merit over to block them. After a while, the soul dissipated into thin air. At this moment, King Yawu, the Heavenly Concubine, and the Grand Elder's crisis had been resolved. The other Soul Unity Realm Ancient Cultivators had already fled. Night Sorrow's killing of the chicken to warn the monkey had taken effect. No one was willing to die in a hopeless situation. Heavenly King Jean's combat power was slightly stronger than King Yawu and the Heavenly Concubine. However, it was only by a little and couldn't form a complete suppression. Now that he was surrounded by the 3 of them, he was at a disadvantage and was in a situation where he was beaten up. Ruthless. Just you wait, Heavenly Spirit Shield. Heavenly King Jean took out a shield and activated it. I knew you had this move. Night Sorrow's avatar flew over and grabbed the human emperor's seal floating above his head with his left hand. Then, he swung his left arm violently. The human emperor's seal, which was bursting with dense golden light, flew out and smashed into Heavenly King Jean, who had already used the energy of the Heavenly Spirit Shield to teleport him to the periphery of the battlefield. The energy wrapped around Heavenly King Jean's body dissipated. Night Sorrow had already prevented Heavenly King Jean from escaping. Since the battle had already started and enmity had already been formed, Night Sorrow planned to eliminate all evil and kill Heavenly King Jean. Beautifully done, Yi Tianxin, who hadn't been able to stop Heavenly King Jean and thought that he was going to escape, shouted excitedly. Night Sorrow's human emperor's seal smashed down at the perfect time and destroyed Heavenly King Jean's chance to escape. That monkey only used the Heavenly Spirit Shield once to escape. Therefore, I think he will do the same. It's normal to suffer a loss once, but it's stupid to suffer a loss twice. Knight Sorrow was in a good mood because the battle situation had already been decided. Don't force this, king. Otherwise, it will be a life and death struggle. Heavenly King Jean's face was dark. Firstly, it was because of his injuries. Secondly, it was because he was angry. The escape route that he was originally very confident in was now cut off. A life and death struggle. Your Majesty, go outside and attack with your sword aura. I want to see how he will fight to the death. Self-destruct. Let's see who he can blow up. Knight Sorrow shouted at Enchanting. His main body and avatar's merit taboo Dao domains overlapped and began to suppress Heavenly King Jean. After listening to Knight Sorrow's arrangement, Enchanting retreated outside of Knight Sorrow's Dao domain and used Shura sword aura to attack. Her sword aura's cutting ability was very strong and suitable for long-range attacks. Even if she retreated from close combat, it would not affect her attack power. She also understood that now was not the time to be modest. In terms of suppression and defense, she was indeed inferior to Knight Sorrow. Heavenly King Jean was about to go crazy. Knight Sorrow's merit taboo primordial Dao domain was too suppressive. It completely blocked his attack and movement. In a head-on clash with Knight Sorrow, he was absolutely at a disadvantage. The primordial Dao domain and the reincarnation Dao domain kept destroying his body. In addition, he could not dodge Enchanting's sword aura. Since you won't let me live, I will not let you have a good time. Explode. Heavenly King Jean did not hesitate and directly used self-destruct. He planned to use the self-destruction of his body to protect his soul body and escape. Thousand Realms Defense. Knight Sorrow's avatar flashed in front of his main body and fully activated the Thousand Realms defense to block the impact for his main body. At the same time, his main body floated back and threw out his left hand again. With a flash of golden light, Knight Sorrow threw out the Human Emperor's seal again. The Human Emperor's seal, glowing with golden light, was extremely fast. It directly smashed into Heavenly King Jean's soul that had left his body. Then, the fire of merit burst forth and enveloped Heavenly King Jean's soul. Heavenly King Jean's soul body flew with the fire of merit and the Human Emperor's seal, but he lost his speed. Knight Sorrow's true body caught up with him in 2 flashes. He released his merit primordial Dao domain to suppress him. Then, the Heavenly Samsara halberd began attacking Heavenly King Jean, who was inside the fire of merit. Damn it! Unable to fight back, Heavenly King Jean could only passively take the beating. His soul was constantly being destroyed as he cursed. 6Y version. Starter 7P, you're the one who's looking for death. I've reminded you twice, but you're the one who keeps looking for death. Knight Sorrow was also very angry because his doppelganger was injured. After the doppelganger helped the real body withstand Heavenly King Jean's self-destruction, his sternum and arms were all shattered. It was very serious. However, the result of the battle was already determined. All that was left was to slowly recover. Heavenly King Jean did not need Enchanting's help. Enchanting went to another battle group to deal with Jingtian Marquis with King Yawu, Heavenly Concubine, and Sect Elder Duan. Knight Sorrow could not help but admire Heavenly King Jean's soul. Every time the Heavenly Samsara halberd attacked, it could only destroy a little of the soul body's soul power. Fortunately, Heavenly King Jean could not fight back as he was attacked by Knight Sorrow. This king is a half-step god emperor. You despicable ant. Heavenly King Jean cursed. Chapter 2342. Heavenly King Jean was indeed difficult to kill. Knight Sorrow used all his power to attack his soul body dozens of times before destroying it. Heavenly King Jean died, leaving behind a head-sized nascent soul pearl. Knight Sorrow's battle was over, and the other battles were coming to an end as well. Knight Sorrow's heavily injured clone used the fire of virtue to suppress the soul body of Heavenly King Jingtian, whose body had been destroyed by Yi Tianxin and the others. Then, Yi Tianxin and the others finished off the soul body. When the battle was over, Knight Sorrow put away the heavily injured clone. The heavenly concubine stood beside Knight Sorrow and asked, "How are you? Is it serious?" She was obviously asking about Knight Sorrow's clone. "It's just a physical wound," Knight Sorrow said. "It's not a fundamental wound. I'll be fine after a while." "Is anyone hurt?" "No one is hurt. Those two guys are still very strong, especially Heavenly King Zhan. He's really a tough nut to crack," Yi Tianxin said. She knew that if it weren't for Knight Sorrow's strong suppression, Heavenly King Zhan would not have been killed. She and Heavenly King Zhan's combat power were about the same. Now that we've dealt with those two big problems, the threat of the group of ancient worlds should no longer exist. If news of this spreads, there should not be any ancient cultivators who are stupid enough to come near us, Knight Sorrow said. Yes, the danger should no longer exist. King Yewu greets the Shura Empress. King Yewu bowed to Yi Tianxin. Elder Duan bowed as well. Right now, all the cultivators of the celestial realm were juniors before Yi Tianxin. The heavenly concubine also bowed. Although she was not a descendant of the 100 races of the celestial realm, she still had to respect the strong. "Your generation is very good," Yi Tianxin said. "You've created a new era. This era will be a stable one in the future." In fact, the celestial realm had reached a height that even her generation had not reached. Although there were many strong people in her generation, the demon imperial city had not been broken. Now, the 100 races of the celestial realm had taken down the unbreakable demon imperial city under Knight Sorrow's leadership. This was the achievement of the 100 races of the celestial realm in the past 1,000 reincarnations. "Let's go back and have some tea." Knight Sorrow smiled. When they returned to the heaven realm and arrived at the core of the spell formation's living area, Knight Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. "Her Majesty said that we started a new era, but we didn't have the ability to do so. It was Knight Sorrow who did. He became the unprecedented virtuous emperor. He led everyone through a series of battles, turning from a passive position to an active one. He also accumulated a great advantage," said Elder Duan. "It was everyone's hard work," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. "There are some things that do not need to be humble. I understand that some things are not your responsibility. If you stayed in the 9 Zones world, you would not be troubled. However, you still shouldered the burden of the celestial realm. For this, the 100 races of the celestial realm should thank you," Yi Tianxin said. Knight Sorrow's achievements could not be denied. "Master, you are exaggerating. This is what Knight Sorrow should do. Also, the crisis here has been resolved. I will return to the 9 Zones world." Knight Sorrow stood up. "Then I will return too," the heavenly concubine said. She had come to help resolve the war. Now that the war was over, there was no point for her to stay. She felt uncomfortable. "Okay, you guys go back. I have something to tell you." "Things should be stable," King Yewu said. "Her Majesty, do as you wish. I will go back first." Knight Sorrow cupped his hands and left with Heavenly Concubine through the teleportation array. Elder Duan watched Knight Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine leave. Then, he looked at Yi Tianxin and asked, "Her Majesty, how have you been these years?" "Don't call me Her Majesty. I am Yi Tianxin," Yi Tianxin said. After that, King Yewu and Sect Elder Duan addressed Yi Tianxin as Lord Tianxin. "Don't worry. The celestial realm is stable. Even the demon Alpha's awakening will not change the situation," Yi Tianxin said. "Why do you say that, Lord?" Elder Duan asked. Because Night Sorrow is strong enough. If you are not a godly emperor who has passed the godly tribulation, you will not be his match. If he reaches the godly soul-uniting realm, even a godly emperor will be able to fight him. So, there is nothing to worry about. Let things develop as they should. I will be staying at the old site of the Shura race. You know where it is, right? If you need anything, go find me. If not, go to 9 Region City. I have a mansion there. There is a Shura war flag on it, Yi Tianqin said. Lord Tian Xan, there is no one at the old site of the Shura race. It is barren, Elder Duan said softly. Barren, no one. Don't worry. As long as I, Yi Tianqin, am alive, the Shura race will not fall. Yi Tianqin shook his head. Yi Tianqin left. She had her own things to hold on to. She was from the Shura race. She did not want the Shura race to be annihilated in this era. Normally, when a soul was reincarnated, it would be one with the soul of the previous body. However, there were special cases where the soul could find the blood left behind and reform it. Demon 9 Clouds' soul was reincarnated with the blood of the Nether race. When she returned to the demonic imperial city, she first used the essence blood of her original body to cultivate and restore her blood. Yi Tianqin did the same. After she regained her memories, she returned to the realm where she had fallen and found some essence blood left behind. She had failed to pass the godly tribulation, but because of her high cultivation level, her essence blood did not disperse. It had been preserved until now. After reforming the Shura blood, Yi Tianqin could use the Shura sword qi. Otherwise, with Keek's blood, it would be impossible. They are all gone. The war is over. It is so quiet. The Grand Elder shook his head. Ha! This is a good thing. The celestial realm is stable. Besides Night Sorrow, Lord Tian Xan is also very powerful, King Yowu said with a smile. Alright, you can go back. I'll keep an eye on this side. Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine returned to 9 Region City and went to the Heaven-Sealing Great Hall. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. Heavenly Concubine, you've worked hard these past few years. Thank you. You're too polite. I went over there to fight, and you were able to cultivate here in peace. Isn't it great now? Now that you have reached the peak of the 9 Emperor Tribulation, you can attack the Divine Soul Unity Realm at any time. Heavenly Concubine said with a smile. I will remember this favor. In the future, as long as you ask, I, Night Sorrow, will do anything. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Heavenly Concubine. Those words are too light. A mountain of blades and a sea of flames won't take your life. The Heavenly Concubine smiled. Min 0 equals new TX chapter, section unspecified currency W, ing, don't worry. Whatever you say, we'll do as you say. You've robbed the place where I grow herbs in Sky City, and I'll accept it. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. As they chatted, Heavenly Concubine asked Night Sorrow what he planned to do next. The danger from the ancient worlds has been resolved. I plan to cultivate in peace and strengthen the Thousand Realms defense body. After all, no one can predict when and what kind of experts we will face, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2343. That was the truth. Time passed very quickly for cultivators. Night Sorrow and the people of the 9-domain world were caught up in troubled times and couldn't calm down. Tran Hung and the others had lived for 900 billion years. The blade of time was very sharp and could easily cut through them. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed. Then it's decided. The 2 clones will research battle skills and absolute arts. The main body will accompany the family. This is a good decision. Night Sorrow said with a smile. The main body won't cultivate. Do you want to hug your two sons? The heavenly concubine rolled her eyes at Night Sorrow. What are you thinking? I am very satisfied with my current life. I have a son and a daughter, and my parents are healthy. What can be better than this? Night Sorrow said. Read Z Novel XL for free forever. Oh right, the surname Yi is very rare. You are called Night Sorrow. Who is that Azura Empress Yi Tianqin to you? Is he your family's ancestor? The heavenly concubine suddenly thought of a question. Night Sorrow shook his head. Our Yi family's inheritance isn't long. We started in the heaven mystic world of the primal chaos realm. Later on, we were beaten until we couldn't take it anymore. Our family's ancestor tore open space and sent our descendants to the 9-domain world. We have only developed in the 9-domain world for tens of thousands of years. We are not a race from the celestial realm. So that's how it is. Then the Yi family is very powerful and has produced many talents. The heavenly concubine said. After chatting with the heavenly concubine for a while, Night Sorrow told the 9-domain origin body that if the heavenly concubine wanted to come, she could enter the soul-nurturing palace at any time. Heavenly concubine, I will let you enter the soul-nurturing palace to cultivate, but you can't pull out my soul-nurturing grass. Night Sorrow reminded the heavenly concubine. He was really afraid that the heavenly concubine would do something rash. Night Sorrow knew very well what kind of person the heavenly concubine was. She was very daring and was once one of the 3 great heavens of the demon-winged clan. She was a lawless person. After leaving the city in the sky, the heavenly concubine turned around and grabbed Night Sorrow's robes. How dare you doubt me? Who have I tricked? We can't let this matter rest like this. Let's go find uncle and auntie to discuss this matter. Don't. Who doesn't know that you're my family's VIP? My parents will believe whatever you say. I'm just worried about the soul-nourishing grass. Forget it, you can pluck it if you want. Night Sorrow sighed because when he returned home, no matter what the heavenly concubine said, his parents would say that he was wrong. It's fine as long as you know what's going on. The heavenly concubine flashed away and returned to her residence. Night Sorrow rested in Sky City. He didn't ask about the matters of the celestial realm because he knew that even if he didn't ask, Lin Piao Miao and the others would tell him. During the idle days, Night Sorrow would guide his children in their cultivation when he had nothing to do. Of course, there was also his grandson, Yi Zi. Other than that, Jingyu and Langley would often come to City in the Sky. They were Yi Xiaoluo and Lu Yu's friends. Night Sorrow also admired them. As for Yi Tianqin's matter, it was still a secret in the celestial realm, so it wasn't announced. Yi Xiaoluo and the others thought that he was in seclusion. The 9-domain world was rapidly developing. The development of each faction was orderly. No one dared to challenge the authority of the Commander-in-Chief's residence because the Commander-in-Chief's residence was fair. Of course, there were conflicts between factions, but this was normal and not excessive. The Commander-in-Chief's residence wouldn't interfere. Survival of the fittest was the rule. There were more and more high-level cultivators in the 9-domain world. Some of the more talented cultivators had achievements. The 9-domain world was developing, and the will of heaven and earth was clearly released. The heavenly Tao's momentum was also very strong. This was also a characteristic of a great era. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 2,000 years had passed. On this day, the Night Moon Dynasty and City in the Sky were decorated with lanterns and colored banners. This was the internal celebration of Night Sorrow's 3,000th birthday. Night Sorrow didn't remember Night Sorrow, but Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing remembered their son's birthday. This was a big matter. This was a big matter for the Yi family. In fact, it was also a big matter for the 9-domain world. Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing knew that Night Sorrow didn't like to be ostentatious. Therefore, only the Night Moon Dynasty and City in the Night Moon Dynasty celebrated. However, the members of the God-Slaying Squad and Night Sorrow's brothers were all present. Brother 13, thank you for taking care of our brothers all these years. I thank you for this cup of wine. Perhaps the year we met was the turning point in my life. Qin Zhen handed a cup of wine to Night Sorrow with both hands. Qin Zhen, you are my first friend. When I was at my loneliest and most helpless, you were the one who stood by my side. The one opposite us was your cousin. Therefore, I should be the one thanking you. I will remember your brotherly love. Actually, what am I, Night Sorrow, most proud of all these years? It's the promise I made that year. Many years later, when we drink, all my brothers and sisters will be behind me. There will be no one missing. Night Sorrow picked up the cup of wine and drank it in one gulp. Everyone picked up their cups and drank with Night Sorrow. The 9 regions world is developing very quickly. You guys should travel around the 9 regions world. Everyone should know that the 9 regions world situation was brought about by us. The outsiders also came because of us. I don't want to see unnecessary sacrifices and killings. Take care of as many people as you can. Do you all understand? Night Sorrow looked at the brothers of the God-Slaying Squad and said, Captain, don't worry. The 9 regions world is our home. We will protect it well, Liang Yu said as he stood up. Yun Huang, Lei Bao, and Lei Jing also stood up. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, he was very relieved. He just drank some wine and reminded everyone that the God-Slaying Squad was now divided into people and regions to manage the 9 regions world. For example, Liang Yu was from the South Li region. Now, he was in charge of the South Li region and was the region lord of the South Li region. Lei Bao was a little weaker because Wu Lingfei was the region lord of the East Xian region. He was the region lord but only the deputy region lord. Yun Huang was the region lord of the Grand Clarity region. However, he was under a lot of pressure because Night Moon Dynasty was in the Grand Clarity region. Long Jin didn't have any territory. He was currently in charge of the Qingtian region. It could be said that the God-Slaying Squad was monitoring all the regions of the 9 regions world. After sending off the guests, Night Sorrow and his wives went to the top floor of the mansion to drink tea. Night Sorrow, how are you doing now? Lin Piamiao asked. All these years, no one knew what cultivation realm Night Sorrow was at. Sometimes, his main body would also be in seclusion. The situation is very good. I can fuse my soul at any time. My 1000 Realms Defense clone's advancement is too slow. The 2 clones have been studying it for a long time but there's no effect, Night Sorrow said. How many realms have you cultivated? Datura asked. Chapter 2344. Isn't it called the 1000 Worlds Defense Technique? Why can't it be used after reaching the 100 Worlds Defense Technique? Yang Lei asked in confusion. Ninth senior sister, the 1000 Worlds Defense Technique comes from the World Tree. What kind of energy does the World Tree contain? The source energy of the World Tree radiates an entire world. Naturally, it can support the 1000 Worlds Defense Technique. This is something we can't achieve even if we work ourselves to death. That's why cultivators can only reach the 100 Worlds Defense Technique. In addition, I feel that the main point of this technique is to pursue defensive power. The quantity isn't the key. The most important thing is that it can be used. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's brilliant. Sikong Chuyu said. You're a bootlicker, a bootlicker. Yang Lei looked at Sikong Chuyu and said. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. This was the Yi clan. Everyone was very harmonious. Father, mother, aunts, this is some tea I got when I was traveling outside. It has a floral fragrance and is very comfortable to drink. Yilingxi took a wooden bucket of tea to the top floor of the mansion. Then quickly brew it. It won't be poisonous, right? Datura pointed at the teapot and asked Yilingxi to do it. Aunts, it won't be poisonous. Even if it is, it won't be a problem for father, mother, and aunts. Yilingxi smiled. After drinking the tea, Night Sorrow felt that it was good. Lin Piaomiao and the others also liked it. Yilingxi wanted to leave but Yang Lei stopped him. Your second brother and fourth brother have married wives. You have made a lot of bad friends over the years. Where are your women? I'm asking you, where is your wife now? Auntie, I'm still working hard. Yilingxi said in a low voice. What he feared the most was Yang Lei. She would really shout and scold him. I'll give you 2 years to get it done. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Yang Lei said. Lingxi, the higher a cultivator's cultivation, the harder it is to have children. Father's happiness is related to my relationship with your mother and aunts. It's also because of the 6 of you. So you have to think more about it. Night Sorrow said. There's already some progress. I'll hurry up. Yilingxi nodded. He knew that he had to pay attention to this matter. Usually, Yishang didn't have any requests for the siblings. But when he did, it was necessary. After Yilingxi left, Shueshi said. Lingxi has changed a lot. She used to be a loner. But now she's much more cheerful and has many friends. Night Sorrow nodded. It's good that they can live happily, Wuyo. Right now, no one can hurt them. Our family's children are all promising. Besides, the 9 regions world is enough for them to survive. They don't need to run to other worlds. 13. When will our 9 regions world become a true supreme world? Qing Ji asked. It's hard to say. There can only be one supreme world. This is the law of heaven. Before the celestial realm ends, a second supreme world won't be born. Actually, it's just a formality. The current 9-domain world is a supreme world, whether it's the manifestation of heaven's will or the manifestation of heaven's will. And because it's a great era, it's more effective in assisting cultivation than a supreme world. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, the celestial realm's origin world Venerate went to reincarnate. What happened after he returned? What about the level of the world? Lin Piaomiao asked. Returning won't change the result. The celestial realm's decline from a supreme world to a sub-supreme world can't be stopped. The world tree doesn't have much lifespan left. It can't maintain the celestial realm's level. It's inevitable that the celestial realm will become a sub-supreme world. Night Sorrow said. That's good. This won't stop our 9-domain world from becoming a supreme world. Am I being selfish? Sikong Chuyu said. It doesn't count. Everyone has the right to think for themselves. Night Sorrow said with a smile. A supreme world has a lifespan of 1,000 reincarnations. 1 reincarnation, 10 epochs, 1 epoch is 100 billion years. That's a long time. Shueshi muttered. This is normal. If the world tree exists, this rule will be broken. The world tree won't be destroyed in the supreme world. Its level won't even drop. Night Sorrow explained to everyone. He also told them about the situation of the origin world. The origin world's level dropped and was destroyed because the world tree failed to break through the God-destroying tribulation. I see. That's good. Yang Lei and the others said. By the way, you promised the origin world venerates of the world of reincarnation and Xianhuang world to take care of them when they reincarnate. Don't forget about it. Datura said. He was worried that Night Sorrow would forget and become a man of no words. I won't. Also, because of the World Tree and the radiation of the World Origin, the three worlds won't be destroyed. The Origin world venerates of the three worlds will reincarnate for a long time. Don't worry. I'm well aware of some things. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow's 3000th birthday was over. His life once again entered a stable period. Night Sorrow didn't cultivate in seclusion anymore. He often cultivated in seclusion in the soul-nourishing palace of the heaven-sealing Great Hole. His soul had reached the limit, surpassing the level of the black-horned dragon. His body cultivation and true chi cultivation were bottlenecks. He couldn't make any progress unless he merged his soul. On this day, Night Sorrow was talking to Papa Gu in the lake when Lin Piamiao appeared. Something happened. The Demon Wing clan appeared and attacked Tianhuang City directly. King Yawu was severely injured. Now, Lord Tianxin is rushing over and fighting with Demon Nine Clouds. They're finally here. Night Sorrow stood up and merged with the clone that flew over from the lake. Then, he flew toward the teleportation array. After getting on the teleportation array, Night Sorrow started the teleportation. He was anxious. He knew Demon Nine Clouds well. If he wasn't sure about something, it meant that he was confident. When Night Sorrow arrived, the battle was already over. Tran Hung arrived first. He joined forces with Yi Tianxin and the injured King Yawu to repel Demon Nine Clouds. Uncle Master, how are you? Night Sorrow asked the pale-faced King Yawu. I'm fine. King Yawu shook his head. Sneak attack. I'll settle this with them. Night Sorrow's expression was ugly. King Yawu said that he was fine, but Night Sorrow knew that his Tao foundation had been damaged. They have a teleportation array that connects to the celestial realm. The base of the teleportation array is on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It has been destroyed, but it doesn't matter. The masters of the Demon Wing clan have already entered the celestial realm, Tran Hung said. When the teleportation channel opened, it happened to pass above Tianhuang City. Tran Hung sensed it. Edition I Chapter Up %. Chapter 2345. A real half-step divine emperor, much stronger than heavenly King Zhan. As a member of the Demon Wing clan, she's strong and fast. Yi Tianxin wiped the corner of his mouth because he was also injured, and not lightly. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian didn't show up. Night Sorrow asked. King Yawu shook his head. They didn't come. Fortunately, the battlefield was at the foot of Yawu Mountain. If it was anywhere else, senior uncle might have died. King Yawu went to treat his injuries. Night Sorrow, Tran Hung, Yi Tianxin, and the Grand Elder talked. The Demon Wing clan came in. They'll destroy and occupy. The situation won't be easy to control, Elder Duan said worriedly. They won't. The Demon Wing clan doesn't want a damaged celestial realm. They want the right to rule and a space to live and reproduce. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow stayed in Shindu City. In terms of strategic importance, Tianhuang City was the most important. But now that the defense line had been broken, Shindu City was the most important to the 100 races of the celestial realm. It was the place where their civilization was passed down. In addition, Yishang also gave Yi Tianxin control of the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda, which was originally Yi Tianxin's magic treasure. One day, Night Sorrow saw Jun Xuanji when he was strolling on the street. Jillian didn't say anything to you when she came last time. Night Sorrow asked. No, she didn't look at me. She didn't even look at me, Jun Xuanji said. She didn't even look at you. This shows that she still cares about the past and can't face it with you. But from now on, we'll have to go our separate ways, Night Sorrow said. The heavenly concubine also came to Shindu City. She went to Night Sorrow's mansion in Shindu City. It was the first gift King Yowu gave to Night Sorrow. Heavenly concubine, you shouldn't have come. It'll make you feel awkward, Night Sorrow said. I won't. I'm from the 9-domain world now. I don't want to face the Demon Wing clan because of old ties. I don't owe anyone anything. I don't dare to face anyone, said the heavenly concubine. Be careful, I'm afraid she'll attack you regardless of the consequences. Night Sorrow reminded heavenly concubine. In his thoughts, Night Sorrow felt that Demon Nine Clouds wouldn't use sneak attacks or other tactics, nor would he attack randomly. There was a high possibility that he would choose a peak confrontation because people were an important factor in determining the overall situation. If the experts of the Celestial Realm were not removed, then the Demon Wing clan would not be able to develop. It would be meaningless if they were attacked everywhere. Only by defeating the experts of the Celestial Realm would the Demon Wing clan be able to develop safely in Wuyo. At this time, Demon Nine Clouds was in a mansion in one of the realms occupied by Demon Feather. He sat on the main seat with Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, Mo Lu, Mo Yuqing, and the others standing below. There were also more than 10 people, who were experts of the 100 Kings tribe of the Demon Wing clan. My lord, should we destroy and occupy Tianhuang City and let Tianhuang and the Celestial Realm be officially connected? Mo Zhantian bowed and asked. There's no hurry. As long as we defeat them head-on, we can develop however we want. If we can't defeat or kill them, there's no point in doing anything else. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Demon Nine Clouds went to Shindu City with the intention of killing King Yowu and removing a top expert of the Celestial Realm. However, King Yowu's fighting strength was very strong. Before she could kill King Yowu, reinforcements had arrived, so she didn't insist on fighting. Demon Nine Clouds was not surprised by Tran Heng's appearance, but Yi Tianxin's appearance made her puzzled because Yi Tianxin's fighting strength was very amazing. After thinking, Demon Nine Clouds came to the conclusion that Yi Tianxin was like her, a successful reincarnator. After learning about the history of the Celestial Realm, Demon Nine Clouds also came to the conclusion that Yi Tianxin was the Shura Empress. Shindu City has a defensive array, so the battlefield will be elsewhere. After thinking for a while, Demon Nine Clouds murmured. In the last battle, she had the chance to kill King Yowu, but Yi Tianxin's unexpected appearance made her retreat prematurely. Now that there were variables, she had to be careful. Demon Nine Clouds thought the same as Night Sorrow. She also thought that the war was a battle between the upper echelons. She didn't want a broken Celestial Realm. What she wanted was to kill the upper echelons of the Celestial Realm and rule the Celestial Realm. Her main goal was the Nine Realms world. The Celestial Realm could allow the demon-winged race to survive, but the opportunities and conditions for development were not as good as the Nine Realms world. On this day, while Night Sorrow was chatting with Tran Heng and Yi Tianxin, his Nine Realms doppelgangers received a message from Lin Piamiao's original body. Demon Nine Clouds had appeared in Ethereal Imperial City. Sect Elder Lin sent a message. Demon Nine Clouds is now in Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow said. Then let's hurry over. Tran Heng said anxiously. Demon Nine Clouds' appearance meant that the war was coming. Night Sorrow, Tran Heng, and Yi Tianxin took the teleportation array to Ethereal Imperial City. After arriving at Ethereal Imperial City and exiting the teleportation array, Night Sorrow saw Demon Nine Clouds in silver armor. His hair was fluttering, and he held a halberd in his right hand. It looked similar to the reincarnation halberd. Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, and the others were standing behind him. After taking a few steps, Night Sorrow arrived in front of the city lord's mansion and met up with Lin Piamiao, Zhang Ning, and Wu Feng. Nine Clouds, is there no other way? Night Sorrow looked at Demon Nine Clouds and asked. No. You dared to fight for the Nine Realms world. I, Demon Nine Clouds, will do the same for the Demon Winged clan and my people. Demon Nine Clouds said. Nine Clouds, we were once friends who went through life and death together. Have you forgotten all of this? Jun Xuanji appeared and shouted at Demon Nine Clouds. I haven't forgotten. Night Sorrow, if you die in battle, I will personally erect a monument. No one can blaspheme you, and no one will harm your family because we were once friends. Demon Nine Clouds said. Thank you. If you don't attack and invade the celestial realm, you can develop in Tianhuang continent, Night Sorrow said. It's already not easy for you to make this decision. You're kind and don't want to see war. You don't want to see war cause misery and suffering, but in reality, you can't do that. In actuality, I'm very envious of her. She did everything she could for the Demon Winged clan and completed her mission as Mo Tianji. Now, she can live for herself. I also want to complete my path as Demon Nine Clouds. Before I die, I'll definitely fight for the Demon Winged clan to the end, Demon Nine Clouds said as she looked at Heavenly Concubine. There was no hatred in her eyes. I can't refute what you said because we're the same kind of people. We don't only live for ourselves. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood what Demon Nine Clouds meant and knew that things couldn't be changed. Yes, so we won't try to persuade each other. Before we fight to the death, there's no need to start a war because those are meaningless casualties that can't change the direction of the war, Demon Nine Clouds said. We'll do as you say. Night Sorrow looked at Tran Hung and Elder Duan and replied to Demon Nine Clouds. Zhan Tian, Yutian, listen up. If I win, the celestial realm will be ours. If we lose, you'll retreat and return to the Heaven Wasteland domain. Return to the domain that belongs to the Heaven Wasteland domain and never enter the celestial realm again, Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhan Tian and Mo Yutian. Chapter 2346. Yin Xiaotian. Wufing's enemy, right? Demon Nine Clouds stretched out his arm and grabbed Yin Xiaotian, who had already cultivated the disaster of the three sovereigns. Demon Nine Clouds held Yin Xiaotian's spirit with his left hand. Yin Xiaotian's legs kicked wildly, but he could not break free. Sir, please spare my life. Yin Xiaotian was a little dumbfounded because he could feel the killing intent. He did not expect that Night Sorrow's words could make Demon Nine Clouds make such a decision. Demon Nine Clouds did not speak. He only shook his head and did not agree to Yin Xiaotian's pleas. Why? We from the world of Nine Yin have been serving the Demon Winged race, and now you want to kill me for the enemy. Yin Xiaotian roared because he could not accept this. The Nine Yin tribe originally lived in the Celestial Realm and was part of the 100 races in the Celestial Realm, but you betrayed the 100 races in the Celestial Realm. I hate traitors, that's one of the reasons. Secondly, I only protect the Demon Winged race. Who do you think you are? Wufing, when I came to the Celestial Realm in the past, you gave me a few words of advice when I was in the Villa of Night Moon. Today, I will return the favor. Demon Nine Clouds' left hand trembled, and an energy burst out and shattered Yin Xiaotian's body. Then, he clenched his fist and crushed Yin Xiaotian's soul. He killed without hesitation. This was the demon ancestor, Demon Nine Clouds. Remember, you can be the enemy of a gentleman, but not a villain, Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian behind him. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian bowed and accepted the order. The demon ancestor's height was something they could never catch up to in their lifetime. The problem is solved. The battle will still be between you and me. Night Sorrow's body flashed and flew out of the city. The others followed. The next battle would determine the direction of the war that had lasted for thousands of reincarnations. If Night Sorrow won, the demon-winged race would not attack the celestial realm again. Everyone in the Devil Wing clan would obey the orders of the Devil Ancestor. If Demon Nine Clouds won, then no one in the celestial realm would be able to stop Demon Nine Clouds. Bridge to bridge, road to road, come. Outside the city, Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Demon Nine Clouds. He waved his heavenly Samsara halberd and nodded at Demon Nine Clouds. As Night Sorrow spoke, Demon Nine Clouds brandished his halberd and charged towards Night Sorrow. After activating the Thousand Realms defense body, Yishang took a step forward and swung his heavenly Samsara halberd at Mo Julian's halberd. Although she knew that Night Sorrow's body was strong, Demon Nine Clouds did not retreat. She was confident that her body was strong as well. With a muffled sound, a halo of energy appeared and rippled in all directions. Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds both retreated a distance, but the place where they stood was shattered by the void. Demon Nine Clouds waved his halberd and glanced at Night Sorrow. Then, she looked at herself. In terms of physical strength, she was not as good as Night Sorrow. This was a huge shock to her. Her body had been baptized by the God-destroying tribulation. Although her body was protected by energy and did not shatter, her body was also at the level of an 8 Emperor tribulation. However, after this collision, it was clear that she was not as good as Night Sorrow. Demon Nine Clouds could not see Night Sorrow's body realm because the energy of Night Sorrow's flesh and blood was locked in the crystals. In addition, with the support of the leakless true body, she could not detect it. After 2,000 years of accumulation, Night Sorrow was no longer the same as before. After this collision, the two of them charged at each other again. The battle started again. Night Sorrow released his karmic taboo reincarnation domain to support his attack. As for defense, there were 13 floating light rays outside his body. Those were extremely stable Sumera worlds. Any energy that got close to them would be directly devoured. Cultivators under the Emperor Tribulation could no longer see Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds' movements and moves. The area of destruction caused by the sputtering of energy was getting larger and larger. Night Sorrow and Mo Julian brandished their halberds, each strike containing the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. The space barrier where the two of them were fighting had already completely shattered. The two of them were fighting in the turbulent streams of space. Kill! Following Demon Nine Clouds' roar, a figure appeared from her body and charged at Night Sorrow. In the past 2,000 years, Demon Nine Clouds' recovery speed was great. Her original body had awakened and merged with the clone of her reincarnated body. In other words, Demon Nine Clouds' two bodies were the original body. One was the original body, and the other was the reincarnation of her soul. Now, both of them were charging at Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow could no longer hide her strength. Her original body trembled, and her clone appeared as well. She began to fight with Demon Nine Clouds, who was wearing a green robe. The battle that was originally evenly matched now had a clear winner. Why? Because the combat power of Night Sorrow's original body was similar to that of her clone. Her clone had 90% of the original body's combat power. However, Mo Julian was different. The difference between her reincarnated body and her original body was huge. Just the quality of her body alone was a huge difference. Therefore, her reincarnated body was no match for Night Sorrow's clone. Demon Nine Clouds could only rely on her original body to defend herself. The battle was very intense. Yi Tianxin and the others were watching intently. She originally thought that she would be no match for anyone below the Divine Emperor realm. However, Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds' combat power had surpassed hers by a huge margin. Of course, there was a difference in strength, but each of them had their own strengths. It would be very difficult for anyone to kill her. Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds fought from the spatial turbulence to the real world. The real world collapsed and turned into a spatial turbulence. The battlefield was filled with turbulent energy currents. If any cultivator below the high-level Divine Emperor realm dared to enter, they would be killed instantly. You have the upper hand, but you can't win. I'll wait for the next battle with you. Demon Nine Clouds' body flashed. His energy wrapped around Enchanting and the others and left. Night Sorrow didn't chase after him. The others didn't move because it was useless to move. If Night Sorrow couldn't win, the others couldn't win either. The clone merged with the original body. Night Sorrow returned to Tran Hung and the others. She's really strong. If Night Sorrow didn't appear in this era, the celestial realm would have fallen. Yi Tianqin said. Everyone, don't worry. Just stay in Xingyue City. I'm going back to the Nine Domains world. Night Sorrow said. He had made the decision to merge with the soul. If he didn't do that, he couldn't win against Demon Nine Clouds. Yi Tianqin and the others nodded. They understood that Night Sorrow had made the decision. They also saw the battle today. Night Sorrow had the advantage, but he was only a little stronger than Demon Nine Clouds. The gap wasn't big enough. He couldn't win, let alone kill. Ion B, 3 Night Sorrow left. Yi Tianqin and the others also arrived at Xingyue City. Lu Qi and the others also informed King Yawu to come. Demon Nine Clouds said that before the battle, he would fight Night Sorrow. However, if he changed his mind and continued to kill, the celestial realm would suffer a great loss. It might not be able to bear it. After returning to the Nine Domains world, Night Sorrow entered the soul-nurturing palace. He told the Nine Domains origins to accelerate time and began to merge with the soul. Chapter 2347. Night Sorrow began his cultivation. The core members of the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm arrived at Night Moon Villa and Star Moon City to begin their defense. Demon Nine Clouds brought Enchanting, and the rest back to the realm. Sir, are we not going to kill the rest of them? Are we going to attack? Enchanting asked. There's no need. Before victory is decided, it's not worth it to draw hatred. The battle between Night Sorrow and I is the key. If I win, all the problems will be solved. But if I lose, what's the point of making enemies? Based on the current situation, no matter if I win or lose, the demon-winged clan won't be wiped out immediately. But if we hurt the others now, it's the same as drawing hatred and cutting off our escape route. Demon Nine Clouds looked at Enchanting and said. I understand. Enchanting bowed. You have to understand. In the battle between Night Sorrow and I, it's hard to say who will emerge victorious. So, we can't go too far. If we don't go too far, even if I lose, the demon-winged clan won't be able to enter the celestial realm again. But if we go overboard, it will be a war of extinction. Demon Nine Clouds looked at Enchanting and Enchanting and said. Enchanting and Enchanting cupped their hands and accepted the order. In order to fight for a good place for future generations to develop, we followed the wishes of our ancestors and followed their footsteps. Our people kept attacking the celestial realm. But what's the reality? After thousands of cycles, our demon-winged clan still couldn't defeat the 100 tribes of the celestial realm. Even if we were strong at some point, we still couldn't stand firm. This led to the deaths of countless people. It's really unnecessary. Let the war end in this cycle. If we can conquer it, we'll rule it completely. If we can't, we'll go back to where we came from. Demon Nine Clouds emphasized his point. Enchanting and Enchanting understood that Demon Nine Clouds had shouldered the responsibility. If future generations asked about it, she would have to bear all the blame. The history books will record all of this, and future generations will understand all of this, Enchanting said. I don't care. As a member of the Demon Wing clan, I will do everything I can. In fact, I really liked the 9 Domains world in my previous life, but I can't go back. Wasn't the heavenly concubine pitiful? She's no different from a guest who died in a foreign land, but she was treated well. The records of Enchanting must be positive. She didn't betray the demon-winged clan. Demon 9 Clouds said and left. Who could truly be heartless? No one could do it. Demon 9 Clouds couldn't do it. It was her responsibility that forced her to continue walking down this path. My lord shouldered all of this. Sigh, Night Sorrow just had to appear in the celestial realm at this time. Is this fate? Enchanting was a little annoyed. Enchanting didn't reply. The current situation was just as Demon 9 Clouds had said. If she won, then everything would be fine. If she lost, then the celestial realm and the demon-winged clan would have nothing to do with each other. As for Night Sorrow allowing the demon-winged clan to develop in the celestial wasteland, it was voided the moment Demon 9 Clouds decided to fight. Night Sorrow first turned the 9 Domains doppelganger into energy and merged it into his body. His body merged with his body, and his soul merged with his soul. After merging with the 9 Domains doppelganger's soul, Night Sorrow's main body felt a little soft. It was a comfort that came from the depths of his soul. His cultivation continued. Night Sorrow's realm and strength continued to rise. Enchanting and the others could only wait. They were now at their peak, and their combat power was limited. They couldn't improve anymore and could only wait for Night Sorrow to come out of seclusion. Currently, only Night Sorrow could help Wang Quanlan. No one else could do it. Everyone, don't worry. What did the previous battle prove? It proved that Night Sorrow is stronger than Demon 9 Clouds. Yes, both of them have room for improvement. But how much does Demon 9 Clouds have? The two bodies merged again, but how much combat power can it increase? She's already at the Soul Unity realm. Even if she merged again, it would only increase her combat power by a small amount. But Night Sorrow is different. Night Sorrow has improved once again, and his cultivation level has increased. His 3 bodies have merged into one, so his advantage will only increase. He won't be pulled in. Enchanting analyzed and gave everyone a conclusion. That's right. As long as Demon 9 Clouds doesn't go through the God-destroying tribulation, she has no chance of defeating Night Sorrow. Passing the God-destroying tribulation. Maybe Night Sorrow doesn't even need to make a move. She will be destroyed by the God-destroying tribulation. In addition, the chances of Night Sorrow passing the God-destroying tribulation are also very high. His chances are only higher than hers, not lower. Tran Hung nodded. After listening to Enchanting and Tran Hung, the group of people heaved a sigh of relief because the situation was not bad. Update Vexen Soonish C3S, in the time acceleration, Night Sorrow continued to improve. Of course, the price was quite high. The doppelganger that accompanied him for almost 3,000 years would no longer exist. Time was slipping away. Everyone knew that a storm was coming. Everyone knew that the next battle would start with Night Sorrow and Enchanting's reappearance. The higher-ups of the celestial realm knew that the most disadvantageous thing for Night Sorrow was that he didn't take the initiative. If Enchanting wanted to fight, Night Sorrow would have to fight. If Night Sorrow didn't fight, Demon 9 Clouds might attack other people and forces in the celestial realm. If Night Sorrow wanted to fight, he wouldn't be able to find Demon 9 Clouds. Night Sorrow's doppelganger fusion speed was relatively fast, but it was still slower. After all, he had fused 2 bodies. Demon 9 Clouds had only fused 1 body. The difference was that Demon Nine Clouds had fused his reincarnated body, so it was more difficult. When she finished the fusion and went to Ethereal Imperial City to declare war, Night Sorrow's second doppelganger had only fused a large part of it. When Demon Nine Clouds arrived, Lin Piaomiao didn't let anyone else come. She went to Ethereal Imperial City alone. Elder Lin, where is Night Sorrow? 3 years have passed. We can't delay any longer, Demon Nine Clouds said. Night Sorrow isn't here. Tell me what you think. Lin Piaomiao said. 3 months. I'll give him 3 months. If he doesn't fight, I won't wait for him. War is war. Demon Nine Clouds said and left. Lin Piaomiao frowned. 3 months was too short. No one knew Night Sorrow's current situation. What if he didn't finish cultivating in 3 months? Force him to come out. That would be a big problem. After thinking for a while, Lin Piaomiao returned to Xingyue City. Then, she told Yi Tianxin, Tran Heng, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder about Demon Nine Clouds' deadline. 3 months. She's doing this because she's not confident. She doesn't want to give Night Sorrow time. She's forcing Night Sorrow to come out and fight. King Yawu was a little angry because Demon Nine Clouds was starting to use tricks. She was taking drastic measures to force Night Sorrow to come out and fight. I don't care. I'll wait for Night Sorrow to come out. Before that, she can fight however she wants. If she loses her territory, she can fight it back in the future. She can't neglect her roots. City Lord Qing Emperor, give me the control of this array later. I'll guarantee that this place won't be broken, Yi Tianxin said. Master, let's hand it over to Lord Tian Axayan. Lin Piaomiao answered for the hesitant Qing Emperor. She knew that Qing Emperor had his concerns. Xingyue City was Night Sorrow's Xingyue City. Qing Emperor definitely wouldn't be willing to hand over the city to Yi Tianxin. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.